Clobbering time!
Hey, my good friends.
Clobberanimo!
Welcome to Saturday Night Star Trek number 88. Whee! Indeed, we indeed. That's what I say. Oh, my goodness. Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome, my dear friends. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm just so excited to see you all. Been in one hell of a... Anytime it's a rough week, and many of them are, there's nothing better than getting together with you, my good pals, and of course, more, to hang around and talk some Star Trek on a Saturday night. And nothing could make that better except if you're doing that with the most wonderful first officer in the fleet. So everyone say hello to my beautiful, fantastic first officer, Commander RM Briggs. Hey there. Thank you for being here.
I love you so much. And yes, I had a rough week as well. So it's just amazing how being around your friends makes you feel so much better. And obviously I'm not deserving of that incredible welcome, but I love you very, very much. I've missed you, even though, it hasn't been since, Thursday, but I have missed you. You cheer me up immensely. I had a great time at the con yesterday. I'm going to be going to the con again tomorrow. So I'm in high spirits. I'm so delighted and honored to be here with the 735. Let's do it.
That's fantastic. Let's see. I think you have something to share with us.
I do. Con? If you wouldn't mind sharing.
Before we do the show notes, we can do that.
Oh, sure. If you'd like to.
You would like to see a few pics, folks. And then we'll do our show notes and shout outs and we'll get on. But let's have a little con fun first here.
Yay.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Look at that beautiful person.
Oh, thank you. I don't usually do selfies, but there were some folks who were like, "Hey, if you're cosplaying, please take pictures." But I'm definitely not one of those ladies who's, taking a whole bunch of selfies all the time. Only when I cosplay. So I was at the expo, the big Comic Con here yesterday. William Shatner was the headliner, and of course, everyone knows I went as Maverick. Here are the photographs that you guys asked for. Now I don't use Facetune and all that kind of stuff, so these are just pictures. They're not like anyway. I took out the background, which is my private life, and of course I had to blur the glasses, otherwise you guys would see everything in my whole house. But here is my Maverick costume. I had a great time. The second I walked through the door, there was another person cosplaying Maverick, only to a much higher level. And so here I am getting my badge. I'm very proud of myself.
Nice.
And then, of course, I have to stop and say hello to my favorite stormtroopers. We have a great group of cosplaying stormtroopers here. They're just the kindest people. And of course, cause is not consent. So I just went over and said, "Hey, is it okay if I put my arm on you?" And he's like, "Yeah." And so I took a nice photograph with this lovely stormtrooper. Now, the droid in front of him, fully animatronic. Fully. It was terrific. So this young man stopped me. And as you can see, he's fully Maverick. Now, you all know I'm not a big fan of Tom Cruise,
Okay.
but I had to stop.
Sure.
Yeah. Well,
that's cool.
Well, the thing is my husband always says, don't always do cosplay that you like, because you like all this obscure stuff. Why don't you give yourself a break and go and do something that you think the whole crowd will really like? And so I was like, okay. And so I got to tell everyone, I called Clobby from the con in a panic. And I'm like, do you want to tell what I said, Clobby?
No. If I remember right, you couldn't find you forgot to bring your list of the issues of your Star Trek comics that you need. Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Can you believe what a dolt I am? I was like, oh my God.
Keeps you from spending money at least.
Yeah. So I call. Who do I call? One of my best friends in the whole wide world. And in Louisiana. Could you imagine at any other time Alberta calling Louisiana? And I was just like, "Hey, do you remember that episode that we did where we talked about my comics?" And he's like, "Yeah, honey, but I don't know. I don't remember any of those numbers." And so I was crushed. But I did.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, honey, that's okay. And I did see these three, and I looked at them, and I was like, okay.
Some DC issues, yeah. I don't think you have any DC issues, do you?
I have almost all the DC issues.
Almost. That's a lot. They did the most.
Yeah. So actually, I don't know if I have a lot because I don't remember the number that Mark told me it was. But right now I'm trying to fill out 35 to 45, I think, or 41, I think I have right now.
Well, there are a couple of series. They had a series and then they stopped it and they started it up again, meaning DC.
Yeah.
So depends on which volume. It's $8 a pop. See, they ain't cheap now anymore.
No, they're not. And his Marvels were even more expensive.
The Marvel ones used to be like quarter bin stuff. Now
they're big money. I think they were $15, and then his gold keys were like 35 and up.
Wowzer.
So, but I didn't have my list, so I could only buy what I could buy because I already have doubles and I don't want to. But I want to finish the Star Trek Marvel. I want to finish the Star Trek DC, and I want to finish the Star Trek Gold Key. And Mark has warned me, like, thank God I have you two in my life. Mark already warned me, and you already warned me about how much that will be. So
yeah, ain't cheap anymore.
No.
Maybe 10, 15 years ago, you could have got them all fairly dirt cheap. You can get reprints out, but even that'd be more expensive, actually.
Yeah.
So you have the originals, I guess, but it's nice. I like having the trades and stuff. But so yeah, well, that is. Oh, look at that! You got some patches. I see.
Yeah, so these were really
Nice.
expensive because they're licensed, they're official,
Right.
and I got them for my new pool case.
Oh,
So,
cool.
and many of you know I play pool, like I play billiards. And so I bought a brand new case and I don't have any Star Trek on that case. So I grabbed these.
Nice. Love it.
Thought you'd like those.
Love them. Oh,
And
wow.
here's just like my little my my little collage of what I got. So there's this wonderful young, super young dude named Andrew Howell. I met him at the con, and this is his beautiful graphic novel. I don't know anything about graphic novels or comics. I'm just learning from my geek friends, and I love you guys and respect you guys so much. I've learned so much in the last 2 years. So I wandered over to this young fella and I gave him a donation, and he gave me the book and he signed it. And you would not believe how beautiful this book is.
Enigmatic drop there. I'm so sorry about that, buddy. He said he heard you were on an away mission, which we did mention Monday night after you told me that. But then the next day that changed, and I figured no one had heard it. Only people that were here for the Monday night show had heard it. And then Wednesday night, I made sure I announced that it was back on. So I'm so sorry about that, Ed.
That's my fault.
Oh.
You know why it's my fault? Because I had a thing with work, and they were certain that they wanted me to work, but and so I thought that's what was going to happen. But then last minute, it just didn't work out. So I knew that I was going to be able to join the show again. So the whole thing is my fault. You can send me some shin kicks.
Okay. So, sorry about that, Ad. I did say it Monday night.
Yeah.
But after that, I didn't put it out anywhere. So maybe I didn't even see it. Were you here Monday night? Ed must have heard it somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm so sorry about that, my friend.
Yes, demand a written apology. You can get a written apology from me. I love you. Yeah, so
He understands.
I just want everyone to support Andrew Howell. Now he won a literary award here in Canada for his work, and he literally he's giving his books away through donation. And you would not believe how gorgeous this book is and how wonderful the printing is. And I bought a wonderful wrapped scarf handmade by Teresa. She just absolutely gifted person. If you're looking for something incredibly sexy to give, your girlfriend or your wife, or if you just want to give your daughter something that is like super, super cool, I definitely suggest getting one of these wraps for your neck. They do up like a coat on your neck, and they have beautiful polar fleece inside of them. And so, many of you know about the con lifestyle and about how we are supposed to support makers. Well, Andrew Howell is a maker and an independent author. Teresa is a maker and she's independent. And so it's important for us to wrap her into our con maker circle and help support her. And I'd like to give a shout out to Ant Hill Books from Langley, British Columbia. I met Nels. Nels had actually heard of Mike Alonso. And he was so welcoming and so kind and such a beautiful person to me. So if you live in Canada, or even if you live in the United States and you're looking for some of those vintage comics, I want you to know that Nels had a great conversation. We talked about Clobby. We talked about Mike, and he was a beautiful person to me. So please support him. And then I thought I should show you my con badge. So the Dracula was the theme of Friday. And then, of course, I met a wonderful maker who is bringing back handmade paper toys. Now, this is a very, very old trade that people who were quite poor used to do in order to make money, selling matches, making things out of nothing, like rags, rag rugs and things like that. Well, he's bringing back handmade paper toys, and they are so incredible. So, and that is the end of my presentation. So I just wanted to give a call out to those lovely people. I'll let you guys see one more roll through the photos of me doing Maverick cosplay, and that's it.
Well, that is fantastic. And again, Ed, I'm so sorry about that. If you've seen the episode, and you feel free to to improvise if you want, but if not, I do understand. But at least we're glad you're here either way, buddy. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry about that.
Yeah, and we'll go light tonight because I don't have in-depth reviews either, folks, because it's a big build up to the con. You spend, you spend the time to get ready. You have to drive there. You have to spend a whole bunch of time there, and then you have to drive home, and you're quite exhausted and stuff. So these will not be intensive reviews this evening, anyways. Just so you know.
Well, we're gonna get started. And no real show notes yet. I'll do some after the show. After we get started, let's get on the move here. What we will do is do our shout outs now, and then we'll get busy. We'll get moving on here. So thank you, of course, for our wonderful friend, the great Mark D with a C, our chief engineer, is here tonight.
Hey!
And of course, our wonderful communications officer and derivative Jill. I don't think our buddy Lord Thoth will be here tonight. I think he's got things going on. He and a lady Thoth things, but we're all thinking of you, buddy, and Mr. and Mrs. Thoth, and definitely shout out to you.
Yeah.
J-Man's here tonight. Well, all right, buddy, good to see you there, bro. Let's see here, Steve Mitchum, yo, bro.
Hey, Thor in Vegas.
I hope you're feeling better. You and Maddie, you're feeling better and doing better, my friend. Hang on a second. Let's see here. Michael Beacom.
Michael Beacom
here, and he also has a super chat. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. You were too kind and generous. I really appreciate it, my friend. He says, Raquel, finish Ned. Sorry. I picture you as a little girl finishing a storybook, and they all lived happily ever after. Well, that ending sucks. And then going to your keyboard to do one better.
I love you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. That means the world to me. You have no idea how much joy that beautiful message brings me. Thank you so much. And shout out to your beautiful wife who is dog sitting tonight. And she will be missed because we love our Beacums.
We do indeed. Thank you so much, Michael Beacom. Again, really appreciate it, my friend. Dave G. Sound for $2 super chat. Hello, Dave G. Sound. Welcome. Good to see you tonight. Says, when the con ended, you had to move along home. Hey, I appreciate that super chat no matter what you said, buddy. And that, if you're trying to bait me, if you and Max Redstone think that you could just that easily get this. Sorely mistaken, my friend. But thank you, Michael Beacom, and shout out to the lovely Cassandra. Max Redstone is here. Hey, buddy.
Maximum Redstone.
Shooter 83223. Good to see you, my friend. The great Chris Persia.
Baby. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I love you.
Good to see you there, buddy. Thanks for everything. Thanks for all you do, my friend. Brian Hepburn.
Hi, Brian.
Thank you so much, buddy, for being here. Classic Comics. Good to see you, my friend.
Hello.
Phantom Outsider was here.
Fanty.
Pleasant Valley Picker. Hey.
Zathras is here. Crap.
Matt G. Good to see you.
Hi, Matt.
Thank you for being here. Near Ananax Amanda Bear, my friend. Good to see you. JT Kirk. What's happening, buddy?
JT Kirk. I love you.
Indeedishness. Enigmatic drop there again. I'm glad you're here, buddy. Sorry about the mix up there, but I'm so glad to see you.
My fault. Send me shin kicks. And
to call him Scuba Pete.
Pete!
Shout out to Leslie also.
And Leslie and the whole family. Did you get your present yet?
Let us know. Terrell 782. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well.
Hi, Tyrell. I'm just taking a sip of water, but I don't want to miss saying hello to you because I love you. So don't work hard and work safe, and we'll see you at the end of the show, sweetheart.
Indeed, sir. Have a great one. Apollome's Binion.
And the pepperoni.
Yes, I can do it. Then. Sorry, Apollo.
Okay, I'm gonna take 2 Advil now. I'll be right back.
Oh, go for it. Zax, you Hulk villain. Good to see you. And oh my goodness, he's here. I can't see his new name because he's not on the screen at the moment, but there he is. Hungry for a Clubby Clubhouse sandwich on rye. Hungry boy, brother.
That's one of his best names.
I like all of his names. Let's see here. Hang on. Oh my goodness, look who's here. I always love to see her. The lovely, beautiful, fantastic Katie Carr.
Yep, she's a Trekkie. She's a
Kate-
ballerina. She's beautiful. She's kind. She's sweet.
Wait.
And she's here to keep us
You
company.
know what? Katie would have loved to see those pictures. If you want to put them back up while we're doing this.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I
These,
can do that.
Pictures of Raquel at the con that they had up in Canada this weekend, Katie, for your edification while we continue our hellos. Linrod, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you there. Dave travels through time. And actually, that's all the hellos for this moment. We don't have a lot hellos to go yet. But anyway, there's some of the pictures there. Just for you, Katie, since you popped in, I thought you might like to see those. Raquel in her outfit there. But anyway, Katie, it's lovely to see you. And thank you all for being here with us tonight. We're going to get started now. Big shout out to and Eric O'Sullivan and anyone else out there who is listening either on a repeat, a reload, or download, or whatever you want to call it, or if you're just lurking, we really appreciate all of you. If, like I said, if you're watching this later, or if you're watching it on a repeat, we love having you here, and we just appreciate you just as much. So, thank you. Go ahead, lurk away there, Linrod. We appreciate you. Thank you. And
Linrod Hot Rod, we'll see you on the way back.
Absolutely. So, thank you so much for that, everybody. For those anyone who may be listening that is new, basically what we do here since January of 2021, we started on our monumental task, our ongoing mission. Hello there, Claude Salling. Good to see you.
Nice.
Of reviewing all of real Star Trek. Catman and Katie Myers, good to see you.
Hey, and your beautiful wife. Hello, Dee Dee Myers.
Yes, now all of Star Trek, reviewing all of Star Trek, which of course means real Star Trek, not any of that fake garbage after 2005, but 66 through 05, the 735 Club only. We reviewed the original series, the animated series, the original crew films, the Next Generation, and we are now deep into Deep Space Nine Season 2. 4 episodes every night. We try to do it that way anyway. And so tonight we have 4 more for you. And now what
I would just like to mention before we move on from that it just trivia here, just 735 trivia. Season 2 is Katie Carr's least favorite season of DS9.
Okay. Gotcha. Let's see here. Now I will turn the con over to my wonderful first officer. She will explain our source for the episodes, and then we will get a move on. So thank you all for being here, and here we are. Take it away, number 1.
Hey! So if you're just listening in like it's an old-time radio hour, you're missing out on a beautiful visual that has been provided by the captain. It is of the volume, a wonderful book called Star Trek Deep Space Nine Companion. It's written by Terry J. Erdman and Paula M. Block. And we use this text as a launching off point because there's a lot of user-generated information about Star Trek out there in the world today. And it has created a lot of factoids. Now, factoids are things that people think are true because they've been repeated so many times. And they're not. So rather than turning to IMDb and Memory Alpha, which is trash now, and these user-generated forms, we're using original source material. So a text where they interacted with the producers, the directors, the actors, everyone involved in actually making the show. So, there's some veracity to things that are being said. All that said, unfortunately, Terry J. Erdman, he's very verbose. Okay, it's ridiculous. Paula gets straight to the point, gives you the summary, then she moves on to the production stuff, and it's fast. Terry. So all we're stuck with is the summary because it's a little bit longer. So what we do is we read off the summary, and then I put it over to the boss, our captain here at the 735 Club, and he talks about the episode. He says whether he likes it or he doesn't like it, and then we throw it to the chat, and we all talk about the reviews we're going to give the episode because we wanted this to be like you're at the con and you're hanging out with a bunch of Trekkies and you just want to talk informally about episodes. So that's what we do here.
Yes, and by the way, Katie, I don't know why she mentioned it, but you can feel free to give her shin kicks for saying singling you out if you want to.
Oh no, I thought that's what she said last episode.
She did say that. I'm just messing with you.
I like that she said that because hey, Rough Girl's here.
Rough Girl.
Hello.
Oh my goodness. Hello there, lovely. Good to see you there. I hope you were doing well.
Yeah, last week Katie said
teasing,
that
Katie.
in the chat, and I thought to myself, you know what, she's right. Season 2 isn't like the best, is it?
Yeah. No, she has a good point. I thought she might just like the she laughed. I thought she might want to give you some shin kicks anyway.
You can shin kick me, honey.
We all like shin kicks. Even though we can't see it from this side, we have to look at the yeah. Anyway, so all right. Well, where are we at? Okay. So are we ready to go with our first episode for the evening?
We are.
All right, our first episode tonight, folks, is let me get to it first. Is Armageddon Game.
It is. An Armageddon Game is season 2, episode 13. And you know, this is an international show. So we know that on all these different streaming services, the episode numbers are off. So I'm going to give you the production code, and the production code is included in the book. So we're on 433. That's the production code.
Thanks,
now we
Max. Sorry, go ahead.
No. And we all watched this, well, most of us anyways, for the first time on January 31st, 1994. And let's stay copyright compliant by mentioning once again, I will be reading excerpts extemporaneously from Deep Space Nine Companion, written by Terry J. Erdman and Paula M. Block. And will start tonight's reading on page 112. Let's do it! On a munitions ship orbiting the planet Talani 3, Dr. Bashir and Chief O'Brien work to help the Kelleran and the Talani scientists destroy their stockpile of harvesters, a deadly biochemical weapon used by both worlds in a centuries-long war. With peace in the offing, this final step will ensure the future of the two races. And when at last Bashir discovers the correct procedure to neutralize the harvesters, there is much rejoicing among the research team. But as the last cylinder of harvesters is about to be neutralized, 2 Kelleran soldiers enter the lab and begin firing at the scientists. Bashir and O'Brien manage to kill their attackers, although they fail to notice that in the process, a small amount of the remaining harvester material splashes onto O'Brien. With their return to the runabout Ganges blocked, the pair take the only escape route available and beam down to the surface of Talani 3. A short time later, ambassadors from Kelleran, I have to change the page now, and Talani arrive at Deep Space Nine and inform Sisko that O'Brien and Bashir were killed when O'Brien inadvertently tripped a security device in the lab. The ambassadors provide a visual recording of the incident, which convinces the command crew of their friends' deaths. On the surface of Talani 3, Bashir and O'Brien set up a base in a deserted military command center and search for a way to contact DS9 or the Talani, whom they intend to inform of the Kelleran betrayal. With O'Brien focusing on repairing an old comm panel, Bashir attempts to occupy his time by discussing with the chief the relationships between men and women. The discussion ends abruptly when Bashir hits upon a touchy area in O'Brien's relationship with his wife, Keiko. And only then does Bashir notice that O'Brien doesn't look well. A quick check with his medical tricorder confirms the worst. O'Brien has been infected by the harvesters. Oh, Miles.
Don't make me do it.
No, seriously. She's doing that in this episode again. In the meantime, Sisko goes to Keiko to present the bad news.
Oh.
Although stunned by the revelation, she asks how to view the Talani recording of O'Brien's demise. After Sisko complies, Keiko points out a major inconsistency. The recording shows the chief drinking coffee in the late afternoon, something Keiko insists he never does. That's because she doesn't know him. Oh, Miles.
She believes the recording has been tampered with, and Sisko offers to travel to Talani 3 with Dax to find out why. With O'Brien growing sicker, Bashir takes over the repairs of the comm panel, following the chief's instructions. As he works, they resume their earlier conversations about relationships, like how badly his marriage sucks. That's not in the book. And Bashir reflects on the one true love of his life, a ballerina. And her name is not Katie Carr. A ballerina whom he left behind on Earth in order to pursue his career in Starfleet. At last, the repairs are complete, and Bashir sends out a weak distress signal, hoping the Talani will find them before the Kelleran do. He realizes that whatever happens, it must happen quickly, for O'Brien's condition is becoming critical. In orbit around Talani, Sisko goes to the site of the accident while Dax checks out the abandoned Ganges. Her investigation reveals that someone has tampered with the runabout's computer log, attempting to erase a remote transport command that was made after the alleged accident in the Talani lab. Mm-hmm. The obvious conclusion is that Bashir and O'Brien might be alive, but not for long. Bashir is relieved when the Talani ambassador arrives at the command center. But when the Kelleran ambassador and Kelleran soldiers follow, he realizes the truth. In order to secure the peace agreement, the two governments conspired to kill anyone with the knowledge of their harvester's technology. As the soldiers raise their weapons to obliterate the last two persons with that knowledge, O'Brien and Bashir dematerialize and find themselves on the Ganges with Sisko and Dax. Threatened by the Talani munitions cruiser, Sisko hails his assailants, but rejects their demands that he turn over Bashir and O'Brien. Instead, he cuts off communication and launches the Ganges at the Talani vessel, which responds by destroying the Ganges. As the Talani and Kelleran ambassadors prepare to take the second runabout in tow, they find that it has disappeared. Clearly, Sisko's attack was a ruse, and the Federation officers have escaped. And that's all the long-winded Terry J. Erdman has to say about the summary of this episode. I'm going to turn it over to the captain now. Boss, what'd you think of the coverage or the episode? Where do you want to get started?
Well, first, Keely Chow, Roll Tide, good to see you. And hail to Sporking Raid, hail to Scotty and those wonderful Sporking cast people over there. And Wolfie's here. Hey, by the way, Keiko did save the day. Now let's give her some slack. But anyway,
no, because at the very end, she's like, I knew because you don't drink coffee, and he's like, what are you talking about? I do. Yeah, so it was something that she just made up in her own little weird head.
And if she hadn't, Sisko wouldn't have gone after her. So
we're supposed to be happy that she's nuts.
No, Katie. Bashir told him about relationship he had with a ballerina, or when they were talking about whether he fell in love. The one time he fell in love, the woman happened to be a ballerina. We all know that it was you. You went into the future.
You did.
But he just didn't say her name, Katie.
So you should not time travel like that without telling us first.
Yeah, don't time travel anymore without telling us. We know that you had, you and a young Julian Bashir were made for each other. It just didn't work out. But hey.
But if Bashir was in love with her, it was obvious that it wasn't reciprocated. She was just running away from him constantly.
Yeah, apparently you weren't into Bashir. So I don't know. That's between you two, though. We're not interfering in any way. But don't time travel anymore without checking with us, though, young lady.
You be careful time traveling, young lady.
So yes. Anyway, I thought this was an okay episode. I always like O'Brien Bashir dynamic and stuff like that. And there was some, again, it's kind of, I don't want to say filler. I think it's a fairly entertaining episode with an interesting story about these damn aliens who, what a bunch of ingrates, right? They're going to kill the guys who save their asses.
Yep.
Pretty much. And some of the stuff with the way Dax and Sisko go back to save them, I thought was pretty good. And I have a lot of strong opinions on the episode. I thought it was fairly solid, entertaining episode. Good enough with some good characterization and character stuff. It's just not one of the nothing really super out there that was great or anything. But I thought it was all right.
Mm-hmm.
And you?
I'm a little. I don't know. Let's just go to my notes. This is a biowarfare and disarmament scenario. O'Brien is stuck with two people who don't like him, Keiko and Julian. Poor O'Brien. That poor Irishman.
Julian likes him. He's the one that doesn't like Julian.
Well, I don't know. This is pretty extreme, unbelievably extreme, to kill Starfleet officers without consequence. This is a weird idea. This would have had a colossal impact on diplomatic relations, trade, and political ties, and yet not even discussed or tied up. So I thought that was quite strange. It was like, what would happen thereafter? Wouldn't an admiral get involved? Wouldn't an ambassador get involved? It's pretty crazy that they tried to kill two Starfleet officers.
Yes.
And then afterwards, they're under the impression that they killed Sisko, they killed Dax, they killed Bashir, and they killed O'Brien and Kira Nerys, right? So
they know they got away now.
Yeah, so they got away though. But what happened thereafter with the diplomatic relations, with the trade, with any type of thing that was going on with
Not
them?
good, that's for sure.
That's enough to start a war with the Federation. You don't just murder four people or 5 people and then you're like, yeah, I'm good. And all the other people who they killed. So I don't like that part of this episode. I think that the episode is good up to that point because I like this bioweapon idea. And I like this idea of nations coming together to take apart a bioweapon. Like at least it's sci-fi. But I just don't like the fact that they act pretty nonchalant about and they don't give, like, even at the end, if Sisko would have said something like, contact Admiral, Chakotay and tell Chakotay that I want to have a meeting about the Kelleran immediately. And that would have been enough for me. But the fact that the Kelleran are under this impression that they've murdered these Starfleet personnel, these military officers, and that there are no repercussions is
Gotcha. Well, hey, there you go. So yeah, I don't know. I found it to be a serviceable, fairly interesting episode. Yeah, I guess filler's good or not.
Where's the beef?
I suppose. Yeah. Tough to argue with that.
No, Katie Card, this is a different Chakotay. There's a different Chakotay on DS9.
Yes, they had a bit of a different one. Yes. So, well, where are we?
She even got the spelling right. Katie Carr.
She knows
A+ on that paper, girl.
Well, she knows her Chakotay now. Hey there,
Gotcha, baby.
Midnight's Oblivion.
Hey.
How do? Good to see you. So let's see here. What is your rating of the Armageddon game?
This one I give a C+. It's not terrible, but you can tell it's a filler episode because they don't color it all the way in at the end, and I think it's necessary because this was an extremely violent act that would otherwise be used in other episodes to constitute war.
Right.
So
it's a fair cop, and I actually give it a C+ as well. I did think that was actually kind of funny at the end when she said about the coffee thing, and he said, "Well, sure I do. I drink it all the time." Ooh. Should I play it? You say it one more, and I have to play it.
Jeez, don't do
you
it.
Say it one more, I have to do it.
Don't do it.
If you're sure. I'm sorry, folks.
Crap.
Oh, Miles.
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 Oh, it's a cake. Look, it's Keiko time. You had to, Oh, you and your Keiko. All right, so, all right, my friends. It is now the time. I ask you for your, your rating of Armageddon game and any words you may have about the episode, and I will bring us some fantastic Max Redstone entertainment. Well, number 1 stars your reviews. How about that? We ready?
Now it's time, folks. Maximum Redstone.
Yes, indeed. Fire away, my friends. And here we are. Armageddon game by Max Rudstone. Right. Julian and Miles sitting in a tree. No, just kidding. I say Julian and Miles are not dead, but they now have targets on their head. They're pushed to the edge because of their knowledge of the Harvester bio warhead. Nice. Always coming through in a pinch, folks.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right. Nice stuff there, Max Redstone. That's the stuff. That's the stuff. Let's see. Oh, there we go. All righty. So I will begin. Let's see what we got here. Hungry for a clubhouse sandwich on rye. D plus. Whoa. There you go. Some things cannot be watched without laughing. This was one of them. The aliens look like rejects from the Rugrats cartoon. No, I like it.
That is so accurate. That is so accurate.
Yeah, they did look silly, didn't
Didn't
they?
even realize it, but he's right.
Nice one, Hungry Boy.
Oh my God, he's right, you guys. He's right.
Oh,
If you did
shit.
a side-by-side picture, think about it. Oh my
Yeah.
God, Hungry Boy.
Zathras says B plus. Great start of a friendship. I'll talk about it in the next 65 parts. By the way, Babylon 5 is better than DS9.
Love you, Zathras.
Babylon 5 is better than DS9 indeed, sir. All right.
Zathras says it's better.
Zathras says better, although Zathras never watched it. Zathras too busy watching Babylon 5 because Zathras on there. Zathras biased because Zathras actually on Babylon 5. At least, in fact, many Zathrases are on Babylon 5. It's a crappy Zathras. I apologize. Michael Beacom says C minus. Aliens will never get rid of these weapons. Cisco, Mr. O'Brien, lock on transporter beam. The beam the weapons into deep space. Spread the widest dispersion. Bzz, problem gone. Works for me. Aliens are disappointed, but we wanted to run around going pew pew for a while. Not the first time sci-fi showrunners failed to think through the full implications of their invented tech. Weren't they concerned with people just making new ones, though?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the whole idea. So it's basically like, imagine, I cannot say the gentleman's name because I'm just not good at, I believe it's German, but you know the guy who developed the technology for the bomb. I can see his name in front of me. I'm not going to say his name. But the whole idea behind it is not only would you destroy the bomb, but you would kill him. And in so doing, you would make sure that that technology could never be developed ever again.
That's what they were going for, yeah.
That's right, yeah. That's it, yeah.
Pleasant Picker says a B plus. The Harvesters being decommissioned by both sides is an interesting starting point. After years of war and death, they decided peace was needed. Okay, hang on, Pleasant. Get to the next one here. As the last harvesters are about to be destroyed, Callahan's or whatever the hell they are, attack and try to kill everyone. That puts Miles and Julian at the center, so that gives it an extra mark. Miles and Julian being Fall Guys is a good plot point. Miles and Julian talking women is entertaining. Miles being infected is a nice subplot. Okay. Let's see here. Keiko is actually great in this one. When Cisco tells her Miles is dead, you feel for her. Rosalind Chow is good. I think she was good in it. I agree with you there. I think she did a good job. And she saved the day. Let's be honest. Even if you don't like her, she saved the day in this one. So anyway.
Yes.
The scene with Kira Dax was nice to hear Dax talking about Julian. Okay, yeah, that was a good scene. Pleasant Valley, thank you. I actually thought that was pretty good as well. When they thought he was gone, that was interesting. I like that. There was some stuff in this episode that was really good. Keiko actually saves the day, mentioning Miles' coffee habits. Was nice to see her doing something important, because that's probably one of the reasons why the character may grate on some people. She never really gets to do anything other than moan about stuff
and complain.
Yeah, which is not the actress's fault.
No, it's not.
The two sides wanting everyone with knowledge of the harvesters to die is dark, but understandable. The twist ending where Miles does drink afternoon coffee was nice. Twilight Zone ending, and I got another one from him somewhere else. Okay. After agree, though the Federation should have punished both sides severely. Bad plot hole, but love Miles and Julian episodes. Well, thing is, that's not uncommon with any of these Trek shows where you go, wow, down the line, that's going to create problems, and they just ignore it and never revisit it. So that episode has to get in line. How many times do things like that happen? And you go, wow, and going forward, that's going to create a problem. And they just forgot all about it. So in one ear and out the other for a lot of these episodes. C-ish for Midnight's Oblivion. Thank you so much. Shooter says B-. It wasn't bad enough to kill O'Brien and Bashir, but to also blame O'Brien for the mistake. Yes, but they were pretty low blow, absolutely. The war was ended, and they risk a new conflict with Federation. Not a smart move. Yeah, I guess they looked at the Federation's reputation and realized that they could play them for chumps because they knew there were a bunch of peaceniks, probably. Although it wasn't smart, still not smart. You should do that. Shouldn't Cisco have sent an investigation team as 2 Starfleet officers died as a matter of protocol, even if to just provide a report to conclude the matter? I would say yes, Shooter. I think he should. I think he should have. Keiko comes to the rescue, exposing the conspiracy from her overbearing knowledge of Miles' behavior. Oh, wait. She doesn't know her husband that well. Oh, well.
Right?
I'm right. Oops. Well, and let's be fair to her a little bit. In the daytime, when he's running around drinking that coffee, she just assumed he didn't, and was an assumption on her part. But she was never with him in the daytime, so you kind of go, well, how would you know, Keiko? You're never around him in the daytime. For a highly dangerous bioweapon, the harvesters appeared to not be airborne, slow, acting, and curable. That's a good point. Of course, maybe it's in a different form. It could be, maybe it needs something to act as a catalyst. I don't know. But once a way to neutralize them was found, why the paranoia of recreating them? That's good. I like that.
Shooter has a very cool science fiction mind, and
Very
it's
nice.
like, yeah, it's just great.
Indeed, a nice trick with the runabout, but no conclusion with the Talani and Kelleran. Surely the Federation would take issue with these actions. Second runabout blown up. Well, like I said, there was at the end of the episode, and these writers are very lazy when it comes to canon and continuity, so they just decided never to screw around with it again.
And everyone, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm saying. No, go ahead. I was just saying they never decided. They didn't care anymore. They did their episode and got out of there.
Yeah. And everyone was answering the scientist as Robert Oppenheimer. Is that who I'm thinking of? Why am I thinking
Probably.
that it's someone with a really hard German name? I watched way too many documentaries.
I don't know.
I know absolutely nothing about the development of the bomb. I just watched a few documentaries, folks. So I don't want to pretend like I know more than I know, but I remember there being another name that's really hard to say.
Well, and it was really Dr. Manhattan. Anyway, JT Kirk, B-. I've never liked the replicator as a bioweapon. And yes, it's a filler episode. What I did enjoy was a great showing of Bashir and O'Brien becoming closer, and the good doctors gaining experience. It's a fair couple. Max Rudstrom says B+. This is an interesting episode. It has many facets while maintaining a strong core of science fiction and a bit of a personal favorite subgenre of dystopian mass destruction. Yes. We see the development through struggle of the Bashir O'Brien bromance, as well as the battle-hardened Miles. Of course, we have a preview of O'Brien Must Suffer, a perennial theme in DS9. Boy, is it ever.
It is.
Is it ever.
I feel bad for him.
Yeah, exactly. Initially, though, a biological weapon means we must also suffer O'Brien. the two very interesting questions. Can the threat of a terrible weapon truly be neutralized if knowledge of it exists?
Mm-hmm.
And will the Vulcans and Romulans be filing a class action lawsuit for violation of likeness rights? Julian and Miles saved a Keiko Karen. Miles never has a second cup of coffee at home. Yep. A good reference to the old coffee commercials. I like it. I liked this more because of the WND subplot. My big problem is two races crazy and stupid enough to invent such weapons thinking they could kill their way out of it, only superficially sensible. Yeah, it was not a good idea.
True.
The Catman, aka D.D. Myers, says, Clobby, I thought it was an okay episode, and I give it a solid C. Always live it. Maybe means love it when then episodes with the two working together with a good story. Thank you, Catman.
Good.
Appreciate you. And to call him Scuba Pete. B-. To try and kill off everyone associated with the Harvesters was a load of crap.
So
Can't
bad.
believe the premise behind this was one. With this one was the scene from Airplane. Jim never has a second cup of coffee at home. The second reference to that commercial, I love it. Chris Persia, the great Chris Persia,
I
says,
love you, Scuba Pete.
Julian and Miles are only saved thanks to Keiko not willing to understand nor know her husband.
Yeah,
There's a lot
right?
for leaving things up to fate.
Right?
Wow, you Keiko bastards are rough.
I love Chris Persia. Chris Persia is my buddy, okay?
Hey, Wendy's here. I didn't know Wendy was here.
Hey, Wendy's here. Which Wendy?
Wendy, you saved her.
Wendy Webb?
Yeah, Wendy Webb is here, right? Yeah.
Is it Wendy Webb? Wendy Webb is here?
Hey,
Hi,
Jerry.
Wendy Webb.
Yeah, you saved her the tweet there.
Oh, I just.
I'm not tweet. I said tweet. I'm an idiot. Post, not tweet. I'm an idiot.
I knew what you meant, sweetheart. Don't worry.
Dave G Sound says C. Adequate fun with a few slow parts. At least O'Brien gets traumatized in these. Time for a smackdown, Miles.
Right?
Wow, you people beating up on both O'Briens now. Wendy and Jimmy, Trauma Warriors. Good to see you, Wendy. Says,
Oh, it's this Wendy. Okay. Hi, Wendy.
C. Yes, indeed. C. The only way I can sound like Keiko is if someone grabbed and twisted my ovaries. It was an okay episode. Keiko always irritates me. Wow, more Keiko.
Well, she's annoying.
Number one, if you would slip over to the starred column, and we have our wonderful friends in there, Drap Bear and Jill.
Okay, Bob.
And do the honors over there. I'll switch with you for a second.
Okay, let's do this.
Go for it.
Enigmatic Drop Bear, the erudite bear, one of my favorite bears in the whole wide world. He's got a 3-parter, and it's my fault because I thought I was going to have to work tonight. So, but you know what? He's an erudite bear. So this review is going to be outstanding, even if he didn't, write it beforehand. So here it is, a 3-parter. He gives the episode a B-. He says, a serviceable filler episode constructed on an intriguing premise. I totally agree. I agree with Raquel that the Talani and the Kellerans committed an act of war against the Federation and left unresolved. Yeah, at least have, service my mind. At least at the end, have Cisco reach out to Admiral Chakotay or, any admiral. Pick an admiral, just not a crazy admiral. And then 2 of 3. Pairing Bashir and O'Brien for this mission was an odd choice. Bashir and Dax as science officer would have made more sense. It was supposed to be Bashir and Dax in this episode, but this is the one of those episodes where too many cooks spoiled the soup. So this is one that got passed around and they just messed with it until it became nonsense. So that is an excellent insight. You are very insightful. That is exactly what happened. And yeah, it is weird to have O'Brien go. He's completely useless on a mission like that. And then 3 of 3. The chosen character pairing seems more founded in riffing on the contrast between Dr. Bashir's genteel officer with O'Brien's proletarian and the different stages they are at in their lives. I love you.
That is exactly what they did in the reworking. That is exactly what they did, and it's amazing to me that you knew that without even reading the text. So you're amazing, and I love you. Stand up and take a bow.
Well done, always, as always, ED.
And let's move on to one of my favorite nerds in the whole wide world. Fellow nerd, fellow INTJ, communications officer here at CLOBBERIN Times. Anti-derivative Jill. She's got a 5-parter. She gives us a B. She says the Federation helps opposing forces destroy a deadly biochemical weapon, but this mere act does nothing to zero in on their true conflict. Yeah, because they don't trust each other. You can get rid of the deadly force, but the way to peace is understanding, or else another force will be discovered. Exactly. They undergo no growth, so they are doomed to repeat this Armageddon game. Yeah, absolutely. And now they'll have, they'll hate each other even more. Nothing will change until they find the root of their corruption, which is still alive and well, as they believe destroying knowledge will save lives. A false preconception. Oh, what a great review from Jill. Yeah. At least they're united and trying to kill Bashir and O'Brien. That's Jill having a laugh there. The two have a chemistry Keiko could only imagine having with Miles, so their survival situations make the episode shine. I love you, sweetheart. This is a great review. This is a beautiful review. I love you so much. Keiko was a fantastic force for good in this episode, saving the day by accident and by mistake as she misremembers Miles's coffee drinking habits. I know, so it's just like right when you want to love her and you're like, oh, maybe she does love the cute little Irishman. Then you realize that no, she is always talking before she thinks, and she doesn't know anything about him at all. So stand up and take a bow. This is a beautiful review, and so was Enigmatic Drop Bears. You guys, these are amazing reviews, and you guys create such beautiful conversation. I love you both. Thank you very much. And boss, I'm back over on the live tab.
I think maybe she just doesn't hang out with him during his work hours, and she thinks she knows something, and boy, did it save his ass.
Yep, it's true.
Near Amanda Bear says B+. By the way, Minimus is here.
Minimus.
Here.
And his amazing book collection. I love Minimus.
Indeed. Oh, she likes that book collection. He showed you some pics, huh?
I love following him on Twitter because he's always posting stuff that I like. He posts a lot of stuff that's geeky, but he also posts a lot of stuff that's nerdy. It's enjoyable.
To him, it's interchangeable. It's the same thing. B+ from Latinx Amanda Bear. A silencing the witness conspiracy isn't my idea of a good time. However, I guess we get some good friendship building. Plus, the thing with Keiko being wrong in the end is very Keiko-esque. Good point, Narat.
Oh, Narat.
Ooh, wow. The Wolfie says, rating B+, scratch one runabout. Someone's going to have to pay for that. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, I forgot about that. The running tally on how many runabouts the station gets. What are we at now?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, we need to keep track of that. Can I put you in charge of that, Wolfie? Because you're a
Wolfie,
ship expert.
Yeah, well, he would know. He might know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He knows all the stuff
No
about
pressure,
engineering and
Wolfie,
ships. But yeah, no pressure. But I would love it if you could please keep a tab on that, because that's actually an insider's, like an inside Trekkie joke that we love, you know. And it's not like one of those crappy ones, like, oh, the red shirts always die. It's like an actual inside Trekkie joke.
There you go.
So, if you could keep the runabout tally, no pressure. I love you.
Again,
Thank you.
Feel like it, dude. Not really a review, but Katie Carr does have something to say about the episode. Definitely agree. Filler indeed. Not bad, not great. I feel like sometimes Bashir was used good and then used with no purpose. I always preferred Bashir's friendship with Dax and or Garrett. Interesting. Our chief engineer with the final review for this episode. Let's see. B+. Didn't like the premise of this episode. Could you truly prevent another doomsday machine from being created? Peace is gained through trust, not by wiping out each other's scientists. Yes, it really was.
Oh, what a beautiful way of saying it. That's a right up in your face from like a really kind, soft-spoken man. That's a good one, hey?
Love Cisco's solution to a Kobayashi Maru scenario. Brilliant escape. Episode worked due to the strength of Julian and Miles' relationship. But I bet Miles wishes Bashir had married the dancer. Probably does. Real question is,
If he even had a real relationship with the dancer.
I believe. Real question is, who's Miles spending his afternoons with? Obviously not Keiko. Well, he's working, dude. What do you like? Just like you do. Wolfie says Voyager has like 72 shuttles. Can't wait for that one. That's true. Until they get the Delta Flyer, right?
Yeah. Oh, God,
Okay,
I love
that's
everyone.
true. Voyager did use a lot of that. Like, seem to have a lot of shuttles. Boy, they did. They crashed the shuttle every week, didn't they? Just kidding, Katie. Kidding, Katie. They didn't do it every week. Anyway, what did you do? What's that? Oh,
69 runabouts.
Yep, and it's not. And those runabouts aren't as good as Star Furies, right?
That's right.
Or Star. I know he's going to say something about Babylon 5. So
He will.
Okay, well, let's go on to our next episode, ladies and gerbils.
Let's do it.
That is Whispers.
Season 2, episode 14, prod code 434 for all you international folks with screwy streaming systems. We all watched this for the very first time. Well, most of us croaking old goats anyways. On February 7th, 1994.
Don't
be
trashed we wouldn't do that.
You're going to get in trouble from the ballerina.
Yeah, no, we would not do that, Katie, until it's Voyager's turn. Then we're going to be really mean to it. Just kidding. We love you. You'll be invited always to come defend it. So,
yeah, well,
anybody beats up on Voyager, they have to answer to you, Katie. So there you go.
That's right. Okay, I'm going to be reading extemporaneously from the long-winded man named Terry J. Erdman, who wrote the wonderful book filled. I definitely recommend buying it and reading it, especially if you can afford it. Super expensive book, but Deep Space Nine companion. And I am on page 116. Let's do it. Inside a runabout headed through the wormhole, Chief O'Brien ponders the bewildering events of the past 52 hours. His life, his relationship with his friends and family, even his sense of reality has all been turned on its ear. He can think of only one place to go, back to Parada, to the Parada system to warn the inhabitants. Although about what, he's unsure. O'Brien records his impressions of the past 2 days in the runabout's computer, beginning with his return to DS9 from an assignment in the Parada system and his wife and daughter's subsequent distant behavior. The peculiar incidents mount up. Ensign DeCurtis is ordered by Cisco to realign the station's security net for an upcoming peace talk without first consulting O'Brien. Dr. Bashir insists on giving O'Brien a physical, and Cisco orders O'Brien to comply. Then, after questioning O'Brien about his recent experiences with the Parada, Cisco instructs O'Brien to repair the station's upper pylon rather than help the engineering crew to prepare security for the Parada's peace conference. Later, Ensign DeCurtis refuses to allow O'Brien to check the quarters assigned to the Paradas, explaining that only Kira has access codes. When Cisco orders O'Brien back to the upper pylons, the annoyed engineer pretends to leave, but lingers long enough to see DeCurtis enter the quarters without using any access codes. Back in his own quarters, O'Brien is again confronted with the feeling that his wife isn't herself. But if she isn't herself, then who is she? After Keiko goes to bed, O'Brien searches the computer for any anomaly aboard the station that could be causing the crew to turn against him. He learns that he's been denied access to all logs dated after his return from the Parada system, and that his own logs have been analyzed by other crew members. In desperation, O'Brien turns to Odo, who has just returned from a trip to Bajor. But though initially sympathetic, Odo is eventually proven to be a part of the same quote-unquote conspiracy as the rest of the crew. When Cisco, Kira, and Bashir attempt to corner and sedate O'Brien, the engineer grabs Kira's phaser and escapes, making his way to a runabout and leaving the station. After a call placed to Starfleet fails to provide him with support, O'Brien decides to look for answers where his troubles began, in the Parada system. Closely trailed by another runabout from DS9, O'Brien manages to elude his captors, and when sensors indicate that his pursuers have beamed from their runabout to the surface of Parada 2, he follows. There, he finds Cisco and Kira meeting with Kutu, Parada's rebel leader, who tells O'Brien he can explain everything that happened. But when Kutu makes an unexpected move, O'Brien raises his weapon to fire and is mortally wounded by Kutu's bodyguard. As O'Brien lays dying, Bashir approaches, followed by another figure, another Miles O'Brien, identical to himself. Kutu explains that the real O'Brien had been captured several days earlier, and that the O'Brien who'd returned to the space station was a specially programmed replicant designed to assassinate someone at the peace talks. Cisco has been warned of the possible substitution and taken precautions, but the replicant had no way to comprehend the actions of the people he believed to be his friends. Even upon hearing the truth, he is true to the only memories he knows as he dies. He asks the real O'Brien to express his love to Keiko. No, like, it's just too much Keiko. Anyways, so what did you think of Whispers, boss?
I wish Captain Spock was here, because the question whether Deckard is a replicant might plague him in his dreams. But we know that O'Brien is a replicant.
Yep. O'Brien,
Yeah.
is he the replicant? Who survived? Was it the real O'Brien, or was it the replicant? Where is Cockney Spock when you need him?
No.
I demand Captain Cockney Spock be summoned here immediately. Tell him the XO wants to see him on the bridge.
Yeah, where are you, man? Time traveler. So, I like this episode, especially. It's one of these episodes, however, it's what I call a one-timer. Not that it's not good on repeated views. It's interesting. But now, after you watch it your second time, you know the big surprise ending, right? Yep. Like a Twilight Zone episode that has a big twist or something. You still a good episode. You can watch your favorite Twilight episode over and over, Twilight Zone episode over and over again, and still get a lot out of it. But you'll never get that first time feeling when it jacks you right in the face at the end. You're like, oh wow, didn't I? And I think this episode's good for that. It has a pretty nice twist there at the end. It has some mystery and intrigue. I find because let's face it, we all like Colin Meaney's just such a terrific actor, and I love the character of O'Brien. He's really good in the episode. Because and here's another thing that sort of works in the favor of this episode is that we've seen so many Star Treks where everybody's one crewman is normal, but all the other ones have been taken over by some kind of alien or this, that, and the other, right? How many times have we seen that? Mm-hmm. And that's what we thought we were seeing this time. At least I did. And I thought that was an interesting thing. They were played on that, because some may even make the case that it's been done too many times on Star Trek. Mm-hmm. But either way, it plays upon that. Like you're going, okay, something's somehow, some way the crew's being controlled, and good old O'Brien's on this. It's him alone, him against whoever these aliens are that are controlling them. It has all those tropes, which I find it fairly interesting. And at the end, we find out the nice little twist that it's actually him that is the problem, and everyone else was fine. Yep. So I thought it did a nice job. So this is a very entertaining, intriguing, and I think an imaginative episode. So I like it a lot. I thought it's pretty damn good stuff.
This is one
notes?
This is one of my favorite episodes of DS9.
Cool.
I just want to show this from Scuba Pete. He says, weird that it was another Miles heavy episode back to back. I think they realized what happened when they put Colm Meaney on TV. He's just really good. So I don't really have very many notes from this episode because there's just really nothing to say, right? There's really nothing to say about this episode except for the fact that it's really good. The thing is, in my notes, I put Susan Nimoy. So first of all, it has one of my hero's wife in it. So Susan Nimoy's in, she plays the Admiral. And I love that.
Wow.
Pardon?
I did not know that. Cool.
Yeah, I love Susan Nimoy. I love that whole family. Okay. I think they're really nice people. So anyway, Susan Nimoy is the lady who he married in 1989. So.
Oh, all right.
The latter part of his life, she was his wife. So.
I'm not sure if whoever didn't know that. That's good info to know. There you go.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. Every time I see her there on the screen, I'm just like, "Hey, honey, hi, darling." So yeah, so it was nice to see Susan Nimoy, and I would just like to say how delightful it is to have a mystery episode that turns into the invasion of the body snatchers,
Yeah.
but then it's told from the pod person's perspective. I love
Very
this.
interesting.
I think that this is a stroke of genius as far as writing goes. I think it's executed perfectly here. And, there a lot of people name a lot of big science fiction films when they name their favorite science fiction films. One of my favorite science fiction films of all time, and I can argue it academically as one of the best films ever made, is Moon. And so obviously I'm going to look at Moon and I'm going to look at Whispers and I'm going to look at these two things. And it is so great to turn the whole story around just when the reader thinks they have it figured out, just when the viewer thinks they have it figured out. And people like that. It makes people feel good. And when you do that, when you're an author or a screenwriter, it's wonderful for the audience. So this is a great episode. I absolutely love it. It's pure science fiction. It's delightful. It's just great. It's just good all the way around.
It absolutely is. And again, it has it all. Like I said, but especially that first time. It's still great every time. Don't get me wrong, but like I say, it's got that crazy Twilight Zone. I think that twist that just you later, after you've seen it a few times, you just admire it. But that first time, you go, "Oh, damn! Oh man, that." By the way, hello there, Gary Carpenter and Captain James C. Skywalker.
Oh,
welcome.
hello, Skywalker.
Yeah, welcome to you. So yes, it's excellent, absolutely excellent episode, and again, great performance by Calmania as always.
Yep.
So, what is your rating of Whispers?
Well, it's an A for me because of the writing. This is great writing. This is something that you could have turned into an entire film. This is something that would make a great novel. This is an idea that is great for short story. People are tired of the Hollywood ending. People are tired of the same stories told over and over again, unimaginatively. And this one, it offers you a beautiful and sweet surprise. So the first time you watch it, you're like, you took out the can opener, cranked open my head and tickled my brain. That was great. And then afterwards, especially if you're an author like I am, you have so much respect for craft here. So bravo. This is an A. This is an A. This is great. This is good.
I also give it an A. Love it. I think it's a great one, and we're on the same page on that. We reach as always. Mm-hmm. So I will now ask our wonderful chat. Please give your ranking or your rating, that is, of Whispers, and any words you may have. Don't whisper them. No, type them. And I
whisper them. We won't be able to hear them.
That's exactly right. So as number one takes your, gets your comments, I will bring us some Max Redstone entertainment.
Do it.
All righty then. Here we go. Whispers by the great Max Redstone. Oh, just kidding. I'm not going to whisper it. O'Brien is in.
I don't know why it showed that. It should not have showed it.
Huh?
It's been starred, not shown. So something's going on with StreamYard.
Deliracy? In Deliracy. Deliracy.
Max, your agonizer, please.
What is that word? Deliracy?
Deliriously?
Deliracy. Deliracy?
Deliracy? Yeah. I think
it
so.
Must be a word that I'm not familiar with it that much. O'Brien is in Deliracy. Dude, that way to just make me look even dumber than I already am.
Okay, so take out your hand,
right.
Max.
Wow.
Lift your hand, put it behind your head, and smack your head. No,
it's just not a word you think of that I don't. Deliracy. Okay.
Yeah, I know. And it's
Whatever
doing it
means.
again. I'm going to punch something.
What's wrong?
Nothing. It just keeps showing instead of starring.
Oh, okay.
It's
you got it though?
me up the wall.
O'Brien is in Deliracy. Nothing but suspicion can he see. The crew gives him no smiles. Keiko only gives him, say it. You can guess what it is.
Miles.
It's truly an O conspiracy. O conspiracy. That's what it says. The word O apostrophe conspiracy.
Max, I believe that the boss knows that the root word is delirious.
Right.
He knows that. It's
But
just
it is. It just kind of threw
when
me
you're
off.
cold reading and stuff, and you're like, "Wow, is that how that's spelled?" And is that what? Yeah. Anyway,
It works
who's the
perfectly.
academic now? Oh no, sir. Slow your roll there. I wasn't
No, it's just
reading it. I didn't see
deliracy.
it.
Yeah, and you just didn't even see the word. No, I mean, I can't tell you the last time I've seen that word. I mean,
Hmm.
I got to admit, but in fairness, I didn't pass kindergarten, so.
Oh, come
I
on,
mean,
give me a break.
okay,
You're
well,
so
no,
smart.
they kicked me out of kindergarten. I didn't pass it. They just said get out of here. So, but we'll do it right because this is such a good one. It needs to be done right. Here we go. O'Brien is in deliricy. Nothing but suspicion can he see. The crew gives him no smiles. Keiko only gives him.
Oh, Miles.
It's truly an O conspiracy. All righteousness. Okay. So thank you, Max.
JT Kirk would like everyone to know that Clobby owned a comic shop and was kicked out of 3 kindergartens. Don't mess with him.
Yes. So I'm having some technical difficulties. Stupid YouTube. Okay, couldn't hear anything there. Yes. Owned a comic shop and was kicked out of 4 kindergartens. I'm just kidding. It's only 2. I think. But I can't count either. So there we go. All right, where were we? Where are we? Okay. JT Kirk says A- Star Trek with a Twilight Zone feel. I hate this story because it's disastrous to insanity, and there's no guarantee it couldn't happen to you. Yeah. Oh yeah. Hang on, JT. I think he's got another one. There we go. I love it due to the absolutely brilliant acting by Colmini and great writing that captures O'Brien's perspective perfectly. And O'Brien's a replicant. So, all right. Hungry Boy sees A-. I dig film noir, and this ep was the love child of Invasion of the Body Snatchers and Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah, I think so too. Hungry Boy. I love you, honey.
Until it pooped the bed with the corny rationale at the end, but until then, fun, creepy, and taut.
Yeah, right.
Taught.
And for a TV show, like a television show, this is high quality. It's not like we're sitting here reading the Iliad and talking about the chapters here. This is a television show. So I totally agree, Hungry Boy.
Indeed. Still, it allowed both Calm and Avery to flex their theater muscles, and the cinematography kept the noir feel throughout. Special bonus for using a Mekong, since this ended up being nod to the 1960s Cold War Manchurian clone candidate. Yes, a nod indeed, sir. Indeed, sir. Thank you so much, Hungry Boy. Shooter says, just had to add this. Oh, he had no. Okay, did he already do one? Did I do shooters yet?
I don't know. I'm chasing my tail here.
I see 0 of 4 there.
Yeah.
But did I do a shooter one already?
I don't know.
I don't remember reading shooters.
No, shooters, you haven't read them yet, and he does have 4. So start with 0. But they're coming up.
Oh, well then why does it start out with just had to add this, but it's first before the other ones?
I don't know, honey. I
don't see his number 1.
I'm looking for number 1. Okay, so I have 2.
Okay, I have 2, 3, and 4, and I have 0.
Where is your
While you're doing that, I'll take care of this one.
No, there's this number 1.
I don't see it.
Do you want me to put it up for you?
If you got it.
Yeah,
Zapper says D+. I thought it was boring. Wow. But was it as good as Babylon 5 is what I want to know. Okay. Oh, yeah, well, there you go. Let's see. A-. Just because you're paranoid, just because maybe you are paranoid, doesn't mean they aren't watching you. true and enjoyable mystery where at first minor occurrences grow into a deeper conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, sir. Hang on a second. We'll get to number two. All over here. Here we go. The revelation that the Miles we have been following is the imposter was well played. The issues with the episode arise with why they let the imposter run amok on the station. Hang on a second. Find number three here. Making a married woman spend time with a fake is not something Starfleet should be asking. Her to do probably when a hologram technology exists and could be used to see what the fake will do.
Well, no, because their suite isn't a hologram, and I actually think that she was going to poison him with the stew. I think the idea was to make him have a little nappy nap with the stew. When he doesn't eat it.
Yeah, well, there you go. Problematic cloning, copying memories and personality, and not explained how it was achieved.
The aliens did it. The aliens did it.
I think they didn't explain it, but yeah, he's right. They didn't explain it, but we're supposed to guess that the aliens did it. Yeah,
but it's just a TV show.
It is that. Just had to add this. I agree that this episode loses something after the first viewing, but it is one of my faves, well written and acted. Yeah, I don't know if I think it so much loses something because it's still no. I mean, for example, they're unbelievably great episodes of Twilight Zone that I still love, and they don't lose anything, but. That first time is special with one like that, So yes, Dave G. Sound says, fantastic portrayal of growing tension and paranoia. Well acted, shot, and set. They made a good, creepy episode. Pretty great trek here. Thank you so much.
I totally agree, Dave G. Sound, and I would just like to point out and interject, and I beg your pardon, boss man, but Enigmatic Dropper has made a very good point. And, I do a lot of reading and navigating on this show, so it's difficult for me to be as articulate as I want to be. And he's actually brought up something that he would, we would be talking about in real life. And that is that O'Brien wasn't a clone. He was a replicant. He was a replica, and that is a completely different concept. And to be able to sort of try and flesh that out, so we're to believe that these aliens have made this replicant, and then we are to guess at the nature of the replicant. And that's a very salient point and a great detail, because we're supposed to be furnishing that with our own minds, because only so much can be achieved in a television show. But great point by Edie. Love you, Edie. And now I'll throw it back to you, Clobby. Sorry about that, boss.
No problem. Well done as always. Thank you, Edie. Probably I too love this episode and is my favorite out of what we're all over tonight. What we're over tonight. Okay. I give this one an A++, a bunch of A+. Thank you, Catman, aka TD Myers. Appreciate that. Hope you and your wife are doing well. Michael Beacom says A and F simultaneously. I was really enjoying this episode until I realized why. I have seen this before. They lifted it wholesale from Philip K. Dick's Imposter.
What?
First published in 1953.
I have to write this down because I don't recall that one. So I'm going to go and reread. What was it called?
Imposter by
Imposter. Michael Beacom, I love you, sweetheart. Thank you for being once again beautifully academic and offering that comparative literature. I am going to read Imposter tonight. Thank you, honey. Love you.
Movie made in 2002. Shame on you. What movie was that? I made a movie of it called Imposter, or what was it called? Shame on you, Paul Robert Coyle. For those who want to protest, perhaps he accidentally paralleled it and not outright theft. On companion page 88, he admits to used.
That
was after it.
Why are we on Pleasant Valley Picker? Yeah, there we go.
No, I had it backwards.
It's okay, honey.
Replicant for Blade Runner on purpose. He knows PK Dick, so I loved the episode. It was great. It was a great realization of the story, and if they had credited Dick, all would be forgiven, but they didn't. Okay.
I've never read Imposter before.
I haven't. I've not read this before, and I have the entire Philip K. Dick collection, but there are only so many hours in a day that I can read. And I'm excited to read this. I'm going to read this tonight.
Oh, maybe it's in there somewhere.
Love you, Michael Beacom. Thank you, honey.
Let's see here. Maybe I gotta see if I can find Pleasant Valley Picker's first one, because I don't see it. I may have deleted, knocked it off by accident, though. Now I don't know if I don't see his first one.
Oh, it's the Electric Sheep short story that you're talking about. Okay, all right.
All right, I'm not seeing number 1 for Pleasant Valley.
Let me go find it.
I don't know. No. See, no people. Oh, I got it. It is marked. Hang on. It must be marked lower. Hang on. Oh, there it is. It's below the first one. That's what I was thrown off. Okay. Gotcha, Pleasant Valley. Hang on. B+. Another Miles Suffers episode. Miles putting the odd things, mystery occurring on the station together bit by bit is fun to watch. His self-talk was fun. Gave me Invasion of the Body Snatchers vibes. Nicely builds suspense, tension slowly and steadily. A nice twist ending where Miles is a clone or replicant, and tells real O'Brien to tell Keiko he loves her. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I agree with you. If the Paradin government abducted O'Brien and created a clone who believed he was the real O'Brien, would the Federation be okay with this? Did they approve it? Plot hole? I don't know. No, they wouldn't be okay with it, I don't think. But why didn't? Wasn't it the rebels or whatever did that?
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't the government, was it?
No, it was like that
rebel faction or whatever.
Yeah.
Why didn't Cisco and crew just tell them he was a clone? Couldn't Julian have given him a McCoy hypo? Not a clone, a replicant, by the way, and knock him out? Oh, yes, this episode had to happen, of course. Well, he was a replicant, not quite a clone. I'm not saying how much that matters, but I'm saying he's a little bit different there. But thank you so much, Pleasant Valley Picker.
Captain Cockney Spock is reported for duty. He is on the bridge. Captain Cockney Spock, thank you so much for joining us and for reporting for duty. I thought that you should know that we have now cast the long line of the question, who survived this episode? Was it the real Miles or was it the replicant? Can you please get to the bottom of that for me?
Does he know what we're talking about?
Somebody sent out a subspace message to him, and he reported for duty. He knows what's going on.
Oh, does he know about it? Because this episode at the end, the one we're talking about, Cockney, we find out that they use the word replicant. They call him, they call Miles a replicant in this one. So the age-old question about Deckard is one thing. Deckard may or may not be. That's still out there, but we know that Miles O'Brien is not a replicant. There's a replicant and then there's him. So we just thought you should know.
So right. Captain Cockney Spock, I would like you to get to the bottom of that for me. We need to establish who survived on a go forward basis. Was it actually Miles or was it the replicant?
I got 2 of 2 for JT Kirk. I don't see a number 1 from him.
What? Let me go get it. I'll go find it.
JT Kirk. I got 2 of 2. Let's see. That's what you say.
Starred.
You got it? Oh, okay. Cool. Good. All right. See here. Hang on. JT Kirk says A-. Star Trek with the Twilight Zone feel. Oh, I hate the story. It was disastrous to one's sanity. Yeah, I already did that one. That's why I'm sorry, JT, my bad. I didn't take it off from before. I love it, dude. Absolutely brilliant acting. Whispers. Alan Moraine. Did you say, what did you say? What was that word you said again?
JT Kirk.
JT Kirk. What was that word? I didn't hear it. Was it this?
Your agonizer, please.
Okay, I see now. Not an Axamander says A-. This episode tricked me, and I liked it. Could have used more Keiko, though. Oh, don't make me,
Narod, get out of town.
don't make me do it.
You guys all know I don't like her. It's not
Oh.
because she's a bad person. I'm sure the actress is a wonderful person. She's beautiful and I'm sure quite nice. But the thing is you have all had this person in your life. The person who may or may not yell at you in public. They'll like admonish you, raise their voice in the shopping center or in a restaurant. They always try and make you eat food you don't like. They argue with you all the time over nothing. That's Keiko. She's annoying.
Oh, man. Thanks for mentioning Keiko again. We haven't had enough Keiko tonight. Neuron next. Just kidding. Oh, Chris Berger says, wait. Which hobbit ran around spreading these rumors that Clobby used to own a comic book shop? Next thing you know, he's going to say D. Bud Martin owned one too. What is it? What? That's not a review.
Look, we're allowed to harass you, okay?
Review. Shin kicks to Raquel for that one, guys, because that's not a review.
You'll do it. We're allowed to torture him.
Captain Infinity, mission accepted. All right.
Also not a review.
Also not a review. Max Rudstrom says, B-. This isn't quite like a Murder, She Wrote in space. The death happens at the end, but not the beginning of the story. I wasn't hoping for an Angela Lansbury cameo. Well, you know, she was in the original Manchurian Candidate, so you never know. To me, this felt like a suspense mystery more than sci-fi. To give proper credit, Colmini plays up the tension of being the replicant superbly. He does indeed, Lee Surley. The payoff feels horrid, though. We learn nothing of the Parada, the abduction that of the Parada, the abduction that part of the story is less believable. I got you. Yeah. To me, I would have liked it more if the two O'Briens met sooner. Okie dokie, it's a fair cop. Would they fight one? Or team up? Confusion about who is the replicant? Would real Miles and Repla Miles share Keiko?
So bad.
My big problems were the climax. It felt like a wet noodle, a letdown, and if you knew the Manchurian Candidate was the Manchurian Candidate, why would you allow them freedom to roam and maybe run amok instead of containing the situation early on? I'm afraid even I just don't know that answer to that one. Instead, the crew opts to allow Repla Miles to go free while keeping an eye on him while advising Keiko to turn the
Miles
up to 11.
Can I interject very quickly here just to tell the 735 Club that Just Another Red Shirt just walks through the door. Captain, Just Another Red Shirt has reported for duty. Everyone, please welcome Just Another Red Shirt.
Just Another Red Shirt, buddy. Hey, man. Good to see you. I hope you are doing well, sir. Always a pleasure to have you here. All right, number one, if you will take point, we have our wonderful Jill and our good buddy AD ready to be read, and I will switch with you for a second.
All right. I'm going to go over to the start column and
go for it.
We're going to get anti-derivative Jill's comments out there tonight. These are her reviews. She's a fellow nerd, fellow INTJ, our communications officer extraordinaire. And here's her review. She's got a two-parter. She gives this episode a B+. She says, stellar dramatic mystery and problem-solving performance from Colmini. I was convinced something was wrong with the crew, not O'Brien. So the suspense and puzzling worked well. I'm so glad you had a great time with it, sweetheart. We never hear from this amazing society who can make perfect androids the Federation could only dream of, unless replicant just means a clone. Again, the main characters overshadow the aliens. Dun, dun, dun! And moving on to Enigmatic Drop Bear, the erudite bear. Probably going to drop the mic on this one. It's got a 3-parter. He gives this episode an A. He says, the theme underpinning this story is near perfect fodder for a science fiction story. The paranoid insurgent that is ignorant of their inauthentic circumstances. Well said, well wrought, glorious, love it. 2 of 3, the Parodins have created a technology with incredible potential for malevolence. Yes, exactly. That possibly makes the Parodins the most dangerous villains in all of Star Trek. Sadly, we never hear from them ever again. Dun, dun, dun. 3 of 3. Why didn't the Parodins kill the real O'Brien after replicating him? His usefulness to them had expired after that. That's the one ball that they drop here that is, taken care of very well in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It's just a TV show, but
not perfect, but very entertaining.
Not perfect, but for a television show, hit it out of the park for me. I love this review, Enigmatic Drop Bear. Thank you so much for your thoughts.
Yeah.
You always enhance the conversation. And Anti-Derivative Jill, thank you for your beautiful comments.
Thank you both.
You guys are great. I love you very much. Okay, boss, I'm back on the live tab if you want to get back to work.
Now our final review of Whispers. From our chief engineer, Mark D. with a C, A+. Like the way this episode kept you guessing, since you have O'Brien's POV, point of view, you assume something has happened to the crew, not him. Only flaw I can see is that the replicant O'Brien was killed off too easily. To avoid the Time Riker situation, shouldn't everyone's phasers be set to stun? I don't know. Should be. Which Miles survived? Is he now drinking Earl Grey in the afternoon? Maybe. Keiko knows.
Is he petting a cat somewhere? That's what we need to know. Is he sitting in a library petting a cat?
Or is he just listening to
Crap, Miles.
Crap.
Oh, Miles.
Crap.
Oh, Miles.
Crap.
Oh, Miles.
Crap.
Oh, Miles.
Thank you so much, Nerad Amanda Bear, for the $5 super chat. You were too kind. He says, can we get an Keiko from Clobby as O'Brien? Thank you. That's it. I don't know. Keiko. Keiko. I don't know how I would say that. I can't really speak like O'Brien that much. He's too, I don't know. I can't do an O'Brien, really. I have to think about that. I can say, how about if I do a shut up, Keiko from that's, yeah.
I don't think he'd ever do that.
Yeah, he would never say, Keiko. He might say, shut up, Keiko.
Or like, Keiko.
Yeah. Keiko. I'm sorry. I'm not, sorry to disappoint you on that one, Nerad, but I don't know if I can do it that way. Keiko. Keiko, you stupid little. No. Second wasn't bad. Thank you. What if he said, how about if I have him really speak very evil to Keiko, say really rotten, nasty things?
No, he's Irish. He's a nice dad. He's sweet.
Yes,
and his daughter and his wife are mean to him in this episode. Be nice to Miles.
No, I'm talking about let Miles be mean to Keiko for a change.
No, I don't think he would do that because he's a stand-up guy.
I know. He wouldn't. I'm glad he wouldn't. I'm just kidding.
But I wish he would have flicked some of that poison stew in her face. Just
whoa!
No, I'm kidding. Just kidding.
Wow.
But when he looks
Keiko
at it on the
strong.
fork, when he looks at it on the fork, he could have gone high school food fight, and you know it.
Yes, indeed. Are we not ready for our next episode?
We are.
All right, folks. Our next episode is Pair of Dice.
Pair of Dice, not just a syndrome. Season 2, episode 15. And remember, this is an international audience, and I know you're scratching your head going, what the heck are you talking about? This is episode 15, because it's different all over the world. So this is prod code 435. And we all watched this for the very first time. Well, some of us did. A very small percentage of us did. On Valentine's Day, 1994. I'm going to be reading extemporaneously from Deep Space Nine, a companion written by Terry J. Erdman. And Terry, he likes to talk. So let's get to it. I'll be reading from page, staying copyright compliant, 118. And thereafter, 50 pages. I'm kidding.
It's hyperbole. Relax.
Well, surveying nearby star system for Class M planets capable of supporting new colonies, Cisco and O'Brien find a planet that already is occupied by humans. Efforts to contact the inhabitants from their runabout prove fruitless to what appears to be a low-level duonetic field on the planet's surface. Curious, the pair beam down to investigate and quickly find that none of their equipment will work. They are discovered by two men who tell them their colony has been stranded on this planet ever since they made an emergency landing over 10 years ago. None of their technological systems have worked since then. Cisco and O'Brien are taken to meet the rest of the group, who have constructed a makeshift village around their failed vessel, and to meet the colony, changing the page, leader, Alexis. The colonists are eager to hear news of the realm beyond their planet, but Alexis is more interested in discussing the great strides the colony has made despite the lack of technology. And although some of the colonists have allowed Cisco and O'Brien's arrival to trigger thoughts of rescue parties, Alexis states proudly that she will never leave this world, even if the opportunity arises. Geez, Terry J. Erdman, did you have to write with such incredible suck? Let your wife write. She's a better writer. Sorry, she just is. Invited to be guests of the colony as long as they help with the chores, O'Brien attempts to find equipment that might help them regain contact with the runabout. But Joseph, a colonist who was once the engineer of the downed ship, explains that Alexis had advised them to throw away the useless components long ago, so they would realize they had only themselves to rely on. When Joseph is brought news that the illness of one of the colonists has taken a turn for the worse, he asks Cisco and O'Brien for help, but it is clear that they can do nothing to cure the sick woman. However, if they had access to the medical kit on the runabout, it would be a different story. O'Brien begins thinking of ways to use the duonetic field to their advantage, perhaps by modifying their communicators. Alexis abruptly pulls Cisco aside and tells him that he and O'Brien must stop talking about technology because such talk is harmful to the morale of the community. On DS9, Kira and Dax have realized that Cisco's runabout, the Rio Grande, is not responding to hails. They locate it flying aimlessly through space and set out to intercept it. In the meantime, Cisco and O'Brien join the workers in the field and discover that life in the colony has a darker side, as they witness the release of a colonist from an imprisonment in a small metal box. Well, we're imprisoned in small metal boxes right now. Have been for a while. Anyway, his crime, stealing one candle. Cisco has problems distinguishing the so-called discipline from torture, but Alexis insists that it is necessary for the good of the community. That night, one of the female colonists comes to Cisco's room with a clear intention of seducing him. I don't think she wanted to seduce him. I think she just wanted to clearly just do it. Rejecting her advances, Cisco confronts Alexis, who admits to having sent the woman to ease the transition into the community. I don't think easing the transition into the community and seducing him was what the girl had in mind.
If it had been Kirk,
if it would have been Kirk, he would have already been putting his boots on.
Oh.
Let's just be honest. Angry and suspicious, Cisco wonders out loud at the apparent coincidence of a woman with Alexis's anti-technological convictions having crash-landed on a planet where technology is impossible. Alexis notes that sometimes fate delivers just what a person needs and assigns Cisco to an additional work detail, an apparent punishment for his lack of cooperation. Back up to the top of the page. The next day, there is an additional punishment, psychological in nature. Despite an adequate supply of fresh water, Cisco learns that Alexis is rationing water supplies to the colonists because they have failed to win Cisco and O'Brien over. Later, on the heels of an announcement that the sick colonist has died, Alexis reveals that O'Brien has been caught trying to activate his equipment, behavior that she declares wasteful and futile. Because Cisco is O'Brien's commanding officer, Alexis holds him responsible and puts him in the metal box. In space, Kira and Dax catch up with the runaway runabout, and manage to snag it in a tractor beam. Boarding the vessel, they find no signs of a struggle, but clear evidence that the ship has been tampered with. Taking the ship in tow, they begin to trace the Rio Grande's path. After a long, hot period in the box, Alexis releases Cisco and tells him that she will give water to him and the rest of the colony if he will bend and begin to adopt to their ways. I think he's already bent. But despite his powerful thirst, Cisco rejects the offer and returns to the box. Determined, O'Brien again sets out to find a way out of their predicament. Creating a compass, he finds the one piece of technological equipment on the planet that does work, a machine that creates duonetic field. Deactivating it, he returns to the village, releases Cisco from the box and his now functioning phaser, and reveals Alexis' secret. Caught, Alexis admits to having brought the colonists here deliberately, knowing they'd never be able to leave while her machine was functioning. She claims that her plan has allowed each person to live up to his full potential, but Cisco points out that it has caused the deaths of several colonists, deaths for which she must take responsibility. When Kira and Dax arrive, Cisco and O'Brien offer to remove the colonists, but although they have turned against Alexis, they are not prepared to abandon their home. Only Alexis and her son will be forced to leave paradise. And that's all the long-winded Terry J. Erdman had to say about the summary about this episode. Now I'm going to turn it over to the boss. Captain, what did you think of the episode?
Let me see if I can breathe and not go crazy. I friggin' hate this episode. Hate this goddamn episode.
Yep.
All right. It's so full of stupid shit. I don't know where to begin. All right. First of all, but I'm going to cut it some slack at first.
Okay, just wait. Rant alert. Do it.
Look, I can buy into the nutty, freaky, just as I don't like the way to Eden, but I could even buy into those hippies, the space hippies and all that crap. Let's get together and have some fun. We don't got to do it, but it's got to be done. Screw you in the face, Herbert. All right. So the Karen character, Alexis character, I can buy into her fanaticism and her son's fanaticism with their stupid ass commune, right? I can buy the entire. Your premise is perfectly fine, really, until you get toward the end. Although, if the episode ended with an intelligent ending, I wouldn't even give them slack on how she managed to go up to the goddamn runabout and send it into the sun. Where'd she beam from, by the way?
Yeah.
Does her ship still have a functioning transporter?
Yeah.
I guess maybe, sure. I hate her, but she's so annoying. But let's forget about her for a second. She's a cult leader. She's supposed to be annoying. The actress is fine. She's supposed to be annoying. Gotcha. All right. So we still have people who are supposed to be 24th century enlightened people who are allowing this bitch to torture people.
Yeah.
And allowing this woman to allow people to die with her stupid, primitive, backwards bullshit, even after, Cisco and O'Brien arrived there. They don't want to leave. Right there, I'm like, okay, I'm still giving you some slack. And then when the truth is revealed, at this stupid commune, and all these people see what this person has been doing to them, this horrible little communist despot that she is, they all go, yeah, it's okay. It's fine. That's fine that you let all these people die. That's great. All of her, and by the way, all the preaching is so ham-handed. All of her preaching anti-technology bullshit. Let me tell you something. You might think that was them trying to put that character, just putting as a character that they don't necessarily agree with. I guarantee you that a lot of these idiots who wrote this episode are on her side, although they still love their comfortable technology that they had sitting at home in Hollywood where they wrote it, but they still, again, hippies. Again, idiots, Hollywood writers. So, all right. So these enlightened Federation people, after they get a chance to go home, not one of them goes. Other than
not one of them.
Not one. And
they were all in Starfleet.
we're at home, and these were
They were all in Starfleet, but they would have all been criminals and terrible people and would have not edified themselves or self-actualized without their cult leader.
They would have been fine. They didn't know that she was, of course, pulling the wool over their eyes. So they could have gone back and said, "Oh, screw her. That sucks. Let's just get out of here. This sucks. We got on this planet with no advance." And what's his face? The only kind of interesting, the engineer guy says, "We may turn the Duonetic field back on. We may not." That episode loses all credibility for me. I buy into her character being a nut. Okay, fine. Everyone else being a bunch of pansies and a bunch of 10 years you were hoodwinked by this bitch on a commune. Kept in squalor, people allowed to die because technology's so bad, and now you all agree with her crap. You followed her like a cult leader. I hate it. This episode is a piece of garbage, in my opinion.
Yeah,
sorry.
I think so.
Anyway,
too.
I'm sorry. Notes. Sorry.
Well, I agree with all of your points. In communications and technology, scholars in my field, we like to look at the way it involves a lot of sociology, psychology, anthropology. It's really about how human beings interact with technology and media and how it impacts society. And of course, you're always going to have, this argument between people who want to have no technology, and technology is very dangerous and we should stay away from technology, these Luddites. And then you have these technophiliacs who feel that all technology is good. We need to perpetually be moving forward. And so science fiction is supposed to satisfy someone in that zone. And this is great. This is a great topic for science fiction, but this doesn't go by the way of science fiction. It goes sort of more Lord of the Flies. It becomes really scary and really bad, and they really, really, really overdo it. And the excuses that they give back are absolutely insane. It makes you think that maybe like there might be something emotionally wrong with the writers. So here are some of my sarcastic and horrible notes. Happy Valentine's Day, suckers. Like if you're watching this on Valentine's Day, you're like, what?
Is that when it aired? Huh.
Yeah. This is, of course, a Luddite story against the technophilia story, but it's wasted because these are all people these are scientists. These are space people. So it doesn't make sense. And then we're presented with a cult leader. And then, unfortunately, Cisco talks and he kills his dad again.
Yeah, he does.
So I think we're on third time. I think he kills his dad between 3 and 5 times before his dad appears, and we're like, "Hey, Dad, I thought you were dead." So here are a list of Alexis's crimes. She tortures people in bake boxes. Yep. Now, this is unbelievable because
let it happen.
And if you watched if you've watched any documentaries on torture and terrible things that POWs have been through, one of those bake boxes is what they do. She denies them modern medicine. So people die because they're not allowed to have medicine. So she's torturing them. She's denying them modern medicine. She also denies them personal privacy and dignity. So there's no personal privacy. She says there can be no doors. She treats her crew like prostitutes. So I don't know what the Erdman text is talking about seducing and wanting to build a relationship with him so he stays. That's not what's portrayed in Celluloid. In Celluloid, what we're seeing here is a cult leader who later, likens herself to a messiah as though she's going to be building her own Bible. She actually says that later, that she's the new Jesus. She actually sends a girl to go and have sex with Cisco. That's straight up what she's doing. There's no seduction, friendship, or stay here, I want to be in love with you going on. He doesn't even know her. Right. She sends the girl in for a boink. They're supposed to show each other their nasty bits, and that's supposed to make them stay. It's disgusting. It is morally bankrupt. And then we have this denial of all technology. Then we also have, in my notes, she has a messiah complex and talks to Cisco about how she is beginning to have respect for biblical texts and religious texts. And Cisco responds with, "I'm certain you're about to write your own about yourself," to which, she does not deny this. She's sadistic. So she overworks Cisco to compliance without Cisco breaking any rules. So here we see this sadism. Her son hunts and tries to murder O'Brien. Okay.
Yeah.
She has kidnapped every single person that is on that planet, held them against their will. This is illegal in my country, Clobby, and in yours. So you cannot bring someone under false pretenses there and hold them there. This is kidnapping and holding somebody against their will. So this is another thing. Her speech is sickening. She belongs in jail. So I did that list because I wanted everyone to think about all these things that this person has done. And yet, when they have room, when Cisco says they have room on the runabout for everyone to go, and you'll notice that it's not just 2 people at a time like Noah's Ark. They can all go at once on this runabout. Remember that little boo-boo? Everyone just decide not to. And the colonist's speech
so
at the
stupid.
end is dumb and unbelievable. But more than that, once they say that speech, Cisco and O'Brien immediately back off as though she should not face any charges. But all of the things that she has done, she has to be charged for them. This is a military organization. Cisco is a commander, and he's eventually going to become a captain, and they are beholden to the military law. And the Starfleet, they're supposed to be a pacifist society, and this military is about peacemaking and going out and ensuring peace in the galaxy, in the universe.
Yeah.
And yet they would let this person do all of this torture, this sadistic weird stuff, this prostitution, this trying to attempted murder, kidnapping, holding people against their will, including children, allowing people to die, denying people medical treatment. You know how many murders this person is responsible for? And Cisco just goes, "Well, since you gave that lovely speech about liking it, I guess we'll leave now." What?
Yep. Unreal. I can buy her character being nuts, being a nut running a commune on a planet. Here's the problem, though. These are 24th century. Everybody else are 24th century enlightened people. She hoodwinks them. That's one thing. But she doesn't have any physical way to force people to do stuff. That means, so they allow her to run all over them. They allow her to just, do whatever she wants. When they could clearly, it's not like she's holding a gun to anyone's head or a phaser to anyone's head. And they just get in the stupid boxes and do all this other shit and just whatever she tells them. I can't buy into people of the Enlightened Federation.
Yeah. And the Federation needs to do something about this. This is what would you call her, honey?
Huh?
What would you call her? Like, what kind of criminal? Not like an interstellar criminal? Like,
yeah. But they are sheeple fan amounts. What I'm saying is, I can buy into a few sheeple, but one of the guys was a engineer on a starship.
Yeah,
I can't buy him just kissing her ass all that time.
And she must have been big in Starfleet because she said that she tells Cisco she developed duonomic technology.
Not only that, okay, look, I might buy this story if she had landed on this planet with her son and there were a bunch of primitives that they use their technology to bedazzle, take over, and did that, and then they land there on the planet, and you see her controlling these people that don't have 24th century knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even if I go ahead and suspend my disbelief that they let her run all over those people, at the end when they don't even go home, they don't even go back with Cisco. Not one of them. I was like, shut up. This episode is garbage. It's so badly written.
Why wouldn't you remove the children? There's still a law, right?
Yeah, there are children there.
There are children there.
Why would you want to stay on that crappy planet?
Yeah.
So we're supposed to be, all these people are just.
How about reporting all the deaths
idiots
to Starfleet? how many people who had died, all the different crew people who were on her ship. They have families back home on numerous planets, including Earth. Why didn't they even take a calculation or report or attempt to report all the people who died being kidnapped by this lady, denied medical treatment by this lady, used as prostitutes, tortured in a bake box, and sadistic overwork, being denied food and water? This person belongs in jail, and everyone knows this. So this is the dumbest ending. And it makes Starfleet look like idiots, like complete morons. This, if you love Cisco up to this point, now you're thinking to yourself, okay, nincompoop, are you a complete effing dingbat? You've studied law. You're in charge of a space station. This person belongs in jail.
Well, he took her back. We don't know what happens to her, but she does belong in jail. Here's, Midnight's Oblivion. Here's the thing, though. I agree with you. Don't underestimate the power of a charismatic leader. It can happen to most people. But these are 24th century enlightened people running them in Starfleet. I can believe it. Today, yes. And in that time period, in the Star Trek time period, no, I don't buy into it.
And they would not leave all those people there, taking that lady off to jail like that, and them just make it seem like it's okay. Those people would do those same things to those kids. And there are all those families out there in the wider universe who would like to know what happened to their loved ones, who were tortured to death, kidnapped and tortured to death. Garbage. There should be a type of account going there. Them just walking away and having two little kids walk out to the bake box to see the bake box and wonder. So only two small children want to leave. Come on. I think it's a bunch of crap. It's psychotic crap. And all of those people should have been taken to see a psychiatrist, and the children should have been remanded into the custody of social service workers. This is a stupid episode for dumb people.
Yeah. I mean, Cisco was taking her to justice. That I'm fine with, but the episode doesn't work. And again, I agree with Pleasant. I see what you're saying about the brainwashing. My point is, I don't buy into the brainwashing of people like that. I mean, it's too much of a stretch for me. But anyway,
but it's also the fact, like I said, that if you said at the end to Cisco that Alexis's, that it wasn't for Starfleet to decide whether or not they wanted to leave that planet, and these are her brainwashed colonists, that is complete bullshit. International laws, galaxy universal laws of Starfleet have been broken here. People have been violated. Those people should have been taken from that planet and receive medical treatment and take the kids away. This is mental.
If they're not all in Starfleet, they're all of the Federation for sure. So, what is your rating of Parablice?
It's an F.
I got a big F minus FEFF on mine. So, sorry, everyone. I'm a little excited about that. I just hate the episode that much. All right. Just goes to show you, as great as a show this is, it could have garbage. Well, in my opinion, you guys might like it, which is fine. All right, everybody, please start with your reviews. Number 2, we'll mind the Starcom. I'll bring us some much needed Max Redstone entertainment. Go for it. Number 1.
Got it, boss.
All righty. All right, here we go. Paradise by the great Max Redstone. With a lack of technology glaring, no devices that might need repairing. They make their own clothes, their own food, but their leader is rude. But when tested, she becomes a huge Karen. I needed that one. Max, nice. Good stuff, buddy. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Yep, they can't all be world beaters, can they? All right, let's see what we have. By the way, Max, Classic Comics, this one was not lost on me. Yes, they were like a Cool Hand Luke quote, which is a great movie. What we've got here is a failure to communicate. I love that. Strother Martin. Love it. Everyone see Cool Hand Luke? I know you must. Raise your hand if you've seen Cool Hand Luke. All right, here we go. Scuba Pete says, A+++. This is my favorite episode. I love it so. Oh, sorry. D, Eddie Money. We've got two. Let's see. We've got two stranded. We've got two stranded by Lixus in paradise. If I can make a compass, we can drop the Duonetic field tonight. See, I can't remember which song he's based it on. Eddie Money, I know, but I'm not sure.
Oh, Take Me Home Tonight.
Oh, we've got two stranded. We got. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I can't really recall it to do it. I'm sorry. I've let you down, Scuba, but thank you for that. It is, yeah. And that was well done. I botched it, not you, brother. So sorry. Jerry T. Kirk says F plus. Duonetic fields are the Borg's kryptonite. Oh, wait. In a VM, it'll never mind. I guess he means it'll never be used again. Yes. Cisco put in the hot box after he wouldn't go in her. Oh, this is a bottom 10 episode on my list. Boney.
Made me ugly laugh on air. You're a terrible person.
Captain James T. Scott is a C. I found it painful to see how Miles was treated. Yeah, he was. Well, yeah, he was treated badly. So Cisco was really treated badly. I'm surprised. Anyway, I won't say that. Hungry for a clubhouse sandwich on rye. Says F. Wow, Jim Jones became Jane Jones for this one. Icky. Mm-hmm. As a 70s kid, warned about cults. This one freaked me out. Maggie Marxist got to go.
Yeah.
But if you could do a story like that, but you need to make sense. And I mean,
you do, because there is always going to be that classic battle between technophilia and Luddites, like and technophilia. It is very entrancing. We love all this technology. We want to barrel forward without thinking about the consequences. But and so it's nice to have that kind of conversation. But that's not what this conversation turned into. This was something completely different. This was like cringe McCringerson. This is like, you go into the Jim Jones cult and before he kills everyone, you arrest Jim Jones. And they're like, as soon as he leaves, we'll just pick up where he left off. Take the kids into the shed. Like, yep. What? This is Starfleet.
Alexis implied they'd all be failures compared to their cult life. When Starfleet only accepts the best from a leader, sans charisma. Logic, please. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Shooter says D plus. Who else wants to knock some sense into Alexis? What was her plan? If a Starfleet survey team went missing, surely they'd send out another to complete the survey. Yep. Good point.
Mm-hmm.
That's why she shipped the ship into the sun, I guess. And luckily it just bounced. That part really gets me. How did she beam to the damn was Rio Grande, whichever runabout it was?
Yeah.
How did she do that?
Didn't he take the Rio Grande out on that one? I think he was on the Rio Grande.
It might be the Rio Grande, yeah.
Yeah.
I liked how O'Brien tracked down the source of the Duonetic field. Yeah, see, that bit was good. Like I said, except for a lot of bad stuff, some annoying crap in it, it was the ending that really just blows it all up. Because although I was having trouble with it before, with a lot of things, the Starfleet people acting, with the Federation people acting like that. But the stuff, the O'Brien bit was fine. Yeah, I mean, it was good.
Mm-hmm.
Alexis is one of the worst villains in DS9. I really hope she ended up doing hard time for her crimes. Yes.
Yeah, her name is Alexis, too. Who came up with Alexis?
Yeah, what's that name? What's the deal with that name?
It's really gross. Like, you just see how it's spelled. This is disgusting.
We've got Michael Beacom. Is that a review or something? Just decide to stay.
No, I just love this.
Or go, sheesh. Talk to my phaser on stun and wake up in a Federation deprogramming clinic.
This is such a great comment.
Yes, I don't know if he had a review.
Oh, I don't know, but I just loved that comment. And if his review comes, I will make sure that I start. But I just love, because that's exactly how I feel, right? There comes a time where, it doesn't matter even if we're in the future. In the future, we still have social workers, right? Like, we still don't abuse children, right? Children don't work in fields and then spend the night in a hot box being tortured without water. So, no.
Indeed. Midnight's Oblivion says C. I think it means C minus. I don't know because it has a separator, but It was a failed allegory of cults, which doesn't really work in the 24th century, as Glob says. Yeah. And again, if it does, I mean, I could just like a way around that. Midnights for me would have been if she and her son went to a planet with a bunch of primitive people and took over with the, something like that would at least make some more sense, I think. But not, they were controlling a bunch of, 24th century Federation people. It just doesn't work.
Mhm.
Gene Roddenberry would not, I don't think he would approve of saying that anyone by that time in the history that he, the future that he wanted to portray, rather, that there would be people that gullible. Again, your occasional kook, yes. That's why I said she's fine for her being a nut job's one thing. There can be still screw up, but that many sheep, no. Anyway, it was a communist work camp, and it borderlined on making it okay to have such a mindset. Communism doesn't work and never will. Just read history, says Katie Carr. Absolutely, Katie.
Sorry, that wasn't a review, but it's her feedback.
And I love it. Absolutely with you there. Thank you. Pleasant Valley Picker says, D-, the premier, the premise where Cisco and Miles beam down to a planet where technology doesn't work is an intriguing one. Hang on, I gotta find your other one, dude.
Michael's cut and paste didn't work on his comment. He lost his comment.
Oh, I'm sorry, Michael.
Oh, shite.
Yikes.
Well, if you can remember it, honey, go ahead and put it up.
The matriarch.
I'll wait for you.
Yeah, wait for you. Dude, just take your time. We got plenty of time. The matriarch seems benevolent at first, but she's anything but. She allows a community member to die. Yes, that happens. Her absolute control of the community is infuriating. The cult leader vibe is unbearable. Yeah, I'm with you there so far here. I'm with you there. Once Cisco figures her out, the battle of wills is not pretty. Nice to see Cisco not bend to her will, even though he suffers in it for the body. Yes, see, stuff like that in the episode is fine. Strength of character, is not a problem, not the problem that this episode has. So, yes. Miles finding the field saves the day. Fortunately, Alexis admitting that she created the Duonetic field shows her evil fanaticism. Total bitch or what? Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. She is that, buddy. When Kira and Dax arrive, they really don't have to do much. Not much of a B plot mop-up, ladies. And yeah, at least their scenes are more entertaining than the others for me, just because, they're doing something to come and save their friends.
Michael Beacom, honey, I have your second one, but I can't find your first one.
Ooh.
I've got a 2 of 2 at 15 minutes past the hour, but I've gone back about 10 minutes and I can't find your 1 of 1. But I'm still looking for it, just so you know, honey.
Weird.
Well, the ending, maybe the wrenches can see it and I just can't.
Anyone sees it, yes, please. The ending where they mostly chose to stay with all of them did, with their dictator was unbelievable, and they ruined the episode for me. Stockholm Syndrome had potential, but painful. Fair enough. Worst part, the Federation just allows her to continue her reign of terror over these poor brainwashed fools and does nothing. She allowed people to die. Criminal hate this ending. Well, Cisco was bringing her back to face justice, my friend. So that's something.
Left the kids with all of the lunatics who went along with her.
That was not good. Not good at all. Chris Persia says F.
Got it.
Talk about a god complex. Alexis is the omnipotent. With foreknowledge. I think it's foreknowledge of what each member will achieve in their lifetime. Sorry, this is fascism to the nth level, masked as being Luddite. Yes, is good point, Chris.
Yep.
And how these idiots, at least most of them, don't see through it. Just as ridiculous. Taking. By the way, it's such a boring existence there. What is wrong with these people? It's so dumb. No, you can't buy into it at all.
You can't ration water with children. There are kids here. So I just, yeah.
Can you imagine if you lived in the 24th century with the way it was in Star Trek and then going to a planet with no technology other than being a nut job like her? I don't buy into it. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
maybe
it's crap.
Like I said, I could buy a crack pot or a couple, but all these people, the guy was like engineer on a study. Shut up.
And their processing
Take-
time was like instantaneous too. The
Oh,
one lady's like, "You've
yeah.
been lying to us the whole time."
That's
And she's
okay.
like, "Your life would have amounted to nothing anyways." So she's like, "Okay, I'll go back to
Yeah.
the fields and the water
Right.
rationing. You can keep offering me up as a prostitute. I'll marry whoever you want. Can I please eat? If I get sick, please
Right.
let me die."
You all
Come
would have
on,
been
give me a
crap without.
break.
You all would have been crap without me.
Right?
Taking away our crew members' rights without ever giving them the freedom to choose to live a simple life makes this a dictatorship. Indeedishness. The idea of preventing people from using technology to synthesize medicine to save lives goes against any code of conduct.
You're right.
Then have the people to choose. Then have the people to choose to stay there living. It's so asinine. And like I said, there's no way they would. I mean, they were, maybe Cisco was going to come back for him. He should have said, "I'm not giving you a choice. Get your asses on the runabouts." But anyway,
The kids have to leave. Sorry.
kids have to leave. You're not keeping kids here. In a pre-industrial age, lifestyle made no logical sense. Forcing them to stand. Yeah, it makes no sense. These people have been conditioned to remain subservient, and Starfleet should have known better than to abandon these victims. And they left it open-ended because it's just ridiculous.
Imagine having a childhood where you didn't go through puberty with any privacy. Imagine when their colony gets really big and someone sexually assaults another person or something like that. Like the entire premise of this. Remember, science fiction fans, they say, all the stats say, we make more money than other people, and we're more intelligent than other people, and we're more educated than other people. That's what the stats say. What intelligent person watches this and says, yeah, these people are going to go back into that same lifestyle with those kids, and nobody's going to do anything about it. They're just going to take Jim Jones away. It's the dumbest thing to ask smart people to believe. Smart people don't believe this trash.
Garbage. Dave G. Sound says D-. Did you enjoy this episode? I don't know. I didn't. I think you probably I'm sure I made that clear. But I personally did not. It was not good writing for good Trek. D- with prejudice and reverse jurisdiction over possible sanctions. Thank you so much. Appreciate you there, Dave G. Sound. And Catman says, Claudia, I agree with you with all you said about this episode. This was one of my most hated episodes of the season, and I could give it a solid G. If G won't work, then I'll give it an F. F works fine, or G, whatever you want. G for garbage works. G works for garbage. So if you would like to, let's see what Naradax Amanda Bear says. Says A+. This is a classic DS9 episode for me. Excellent depiction of tyranny and cults. The actress Gail Strickland is really great in her role as Elixis. Well, we had a different opinion there. I think it's an absolutely horrible piece of garbage, but my friend, the Naradax Amanda Bear, likes it. But look, Gail Strickland, the actress, did a fine job with her performance. I won't argue with you there. Mm-hmm. She's a good actress. She did what the lines for her. I just thought they were, it was just bad stuff. But I won't argue with you on that one. And all opinions I want this to be an example to everyone. All opinions are welcome here.
Yeah.
And so thank you so much for your opinion, Narat. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Max Redstone says, good point, Raquel. Put them in the hot box is not a one-size-fits-all law and order solution. And also remember that that she explains that everyone is denied water until Cisco complies. So no one is allowed to drink any water. No one. Not the children, not the women, not the people in the fields, not anywhere in this colony. And so, this is a psychotic person who belongs in an "I love me" jacket. And the fact that all of these people went along with her means that they're unfit to parent. Those kids need to be taken out of there.
And more for me, it means that this episode's badly written because I don't buy into that many people. In that enlightened future time, that many. A few, yes. I just don't buy into it. Midnight Oblivion. Also, it's another example of a good idea poorly written. It could have been good. There are ways you could have made it good. Sure.
Michael, I got everything, sweetheart. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, if you would like to take care of Jill and EG, sure. I will switch with you there, and I'll take the other side of it.
Wicked. Let's start with
Okay.
one of my favorite nerds, fellow INTJ. She's got a 5-parter. She gives this a D. She says an extremist cult leader weaponizing and perverts the peaceful transcendentalism. Oh, Thoreau, in order to throw an entire Federation colony into squalor and misery. Ugh. Yeah, I can't imagine any of those people smell too good. Uh, she uses technology like a cargo box and an artificially created duonotic field to proper criminal hypocrisy, sociopathy, and egomania. Yeah, right. O'Brien shines, creating a makeshift compass. Oh, I love that part. That was the science fiction part that was good. Convincing a colonist to help and taking one down who was trying to kill him. But his heroism isn't enough to make up for the horrendous ending. Yeah, or the messages about Starfleet and how it handles this sort of thing, right? How do the colonists decide to stay once she is apprehended for her crimes instead of receiving care from psychologists, right? For the pain and dangerous manipulation everyone has gone through. And this is an establishment of law for over a decade. They've all been abiding by this law without any pushback. The one guy who was tortured by her nearly to death thanks her for it. 5 out of 5. Why should they have so much connection with a hardship they've only lived with for 10 years? Realistically, most will leave or colonize normally, but I guess the episode just ran out of time. Yeah, and the writers just ran out of care. She says, not my review, but Miles dropping on the Archer pretty much saves this episode from an F. That was really cool. Nice, beautiful.
Yeah.
Let me go get Edie's here. It's in the wrong order. Here we go. Hi, sweetheart. It's Enigmatic Drop Bear, the erudite bear, and he's got a 4-parter, and he's giving this episode a D+. He says, Neo-Luddites meet Jonestown in this exploration of anarcho-primitivism.
Anarcho-primitivism, yay.
Yeah, that's a mouthful when you haven't had a glass of water in 2 hours. Alexis is a flawed philosopher, is credible, but the character as depicted is not plausible as a leader. Yeah, exactly. Love this. This is a great review. The story raised some intriguing ideas for other stories. Dangers of extremism, apprehending a rogue ship at warp. It's hard to say. Ship at warp, false utopia, etc. Unfortunately, they made real meal of it in this one. The notion that Alexis could beam up to the Rio Grande and misfire it into the sun is ridiculous, as is Dax and Kira employing a tractor beam at warp speed. Yeah, could you imagine that? Or even just doing anything at warp speed, because, yeah, you would die. Yep. Good science fiction points. The final scene where the young Asian boy and girl were shown staring at the box was pretty confronting. I know. This is the traumatizing part of the episode for me, when all the parents and everyone walk away and they're like, we like it here just fine. We got it all worked out exactly how we like it. We like it here. And there are those two kids saying, that's my future. So yeah, you saw the same thing I did. Enigmatic Drop Bear. Send in the psychologists, send in the cops, send in the social workers. This is skirting with shoving a message down the audience's throats. Yes, it is didactic and it is infantilizing. We're already sufficiently sickened. Jill, Edie, Thank you for your amazing conversation. Indeed. I love you. Terrific job.
Indeedishness.
I'm going back to the live tab, boss.
Okey dokey.
And I'm going to have a sip of water.
Fanti says F this episode. So F. This was definitely not paradise by the dashboard light or otherwise. The leader, much like Dr. Severin from Way to Eden, stepping out to Eden, yay, brother. Then, when they gathered at the end of the loons should have sand, maybe he meant sang, stepping into Eden, yes. Stepping out to Eden, yay, brother. See here. If the rendition of the song was stirring enough, they could have got an F+.
Monkey Jeebus!
Monkey Jeebus is here, really?
Yes!
Okay, Monkey Jeebus, good
You've
to see
been
you,
missed, my friend.
Always good to see you, Monkey. I hope you are doing well, bud. Let's see, could have got an F plus. And then they borrowed from Cool Hand Luke. Yep, everyone playing grab ass gets a night in the box. And being a technophobic and using tech to enforce your phobia, now we know what. Cliffhanger happens to those that flunk out as Starfleet or are at the bottom of the promotion list. These people weren't the sharpest tools in the shed. They didn't even get in the shed. One more thing. I didn't even get in the shed. That's what you're sorry, buddy. Sorry, Fanty. The girl that was offered to Cisco, Julian Nixon, I believe, I think his name is. She said, lovely. When he left, he could take her with him, right? I mean, Kirkwood. Well, yeah. Hey, a deal is a deal. Ask the Ferengi. Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
no,
I don't know. Zathras said F plus.
Right?
When she opened the box, the man from Tallahassee came out. By the way, Clobby, the Jem'Hadar took care of these morons.
Oh, really?
Did they?
That's great.
I'm just kidding, or
I don't know. But the fact that they suffered at the hands of the Jem'Hadar after torturing their children and not allowing their children to have any type of privacy or medical care or education, they just sit in the field all day, rationing water. Jeez.
Michael Beacom says D-, Federation Colonization for Dummies, Chapter 1. You'll have to trick them. Again, Kirk would go Vol on their ass and have overthrown the cult leader by third break. then they get rescued.
Yeah.
Rescued. Let's see here. Okay, Karen cult, we're leaving now. Since you've only been brainwashed for 10 years, we'll let you decide to stay or go.
Yeah.
Talk to my phaser on stun. And wake up in a Federation clinic.
Yes.
This episode is so I'm stupid.
That was an awesome review. You just won the internet,
Michael
my
Beacom.
baby.
Nice. Life imprisonment on Rura Penthe would still be too lenient for Alexis. Yes.
Sorry, not a review, but another internet winning comment.
Indeed. Max Redstone says D+. A cult run by a Karen who is neurotically anti-technology and is willing to use kidnapping, torture, prostitution, and depraved indifference, homicide to support her beliefs.
Right?
Yep. And at the end, they're just like, okay, everyone, let's get in the runabout. These people are institutionalized and traumatized. It would take a ship full of counselors, not camel toes, to start.
Right.
To effect a recovery here. Yeah. Yep. And don't these people have families?
Yeah.
This is crap, Zathras grade crap. Bring out the Miles non-Alamarine Claboning for this episode. Well, you know what, sir? I don't blame you one bit. This is a he wants an Miles non-Alamarine. Okay,
crap. Somewhere is cowering in a corner because all of his friends have lost their minds. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm going to have to send sin kicks to Mark D with a C for that one. And Max also said this episode was so bad I made a piece of content from the last episode for you to play. It's in your email. Oh, wow. I'll see if I can get a hold of it. Oh, he's got more. He's got more. Oh, these people will become an syndicalist commune. Let's see. Oh, these people will become an syndicalist commune is an autonomous collective that doesn't have a lord that will take it in turns to act as a sort of executive officer of the week. This is not a review, is it? But it's okay. but all of the decisions of that officer have to be ratified at a special biweekly meeting by a simple majority in the case of purely internal affairs, but by a two-thirds majority in the case of purely external affairs. Okay, I understand. I think Jill said something else. She said MB1 to D
Oh,
minus.
no. That was already taken care of.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That was from. Oh, that was for. Okay, that was from Michael. I got you.
She's just making sure that the system wasn't blocking me from seeing what he was saying. It's because she's a great communications officer.
She's great indeed. Chris Persia says, "I suppose I could have mentioned that all Dax had to do was use command codes to take over the Rio Grande. No need to use tractor beams to teleport while at warp." Yeah, what about the command codes?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even address it, did they? Because they're idiots who wrote this episode.
Mm-hmm. But Chris could have written the episode. Chris knows how to write this episode.
What she had. Yep. All right, our final review of this piece of filth is from our chief engineer. A B.
What?
Wow. I thought this episode was a good study of what goes wrong when people don't follow a leader but worship them instead. That's fair enough. Points for Miles' engineering skills in this episode, sure. Can't argue with that. Well, while Alexis is no con, I can see how being stranded on a planet with no tech for 10 years would bond the group together. I can't. Plus, they were already a committed group headed to colonize a planet. That is true. But what she was doing, I can't buy into those people. I'm sorry, I can't buy into all of them being that weak. They were so shocked by what happened and still brainwashed. If they had all left, the episode wouldn't have had the same meaning. The meaning was total garbage. Sorry. There is something to be said for leaving tech behind. I can't buy it. Sorry, not the 24th century Roddenberry. Or even though it's not, he didn't create the show. You know what I mean? When camping, sometimes it is a struggle to get scouts to put their communicators away. Yeah. The ending could have been fixed with a captain's log saying that Cisco didn't want to force them to leave, but was sending Starfleet back to remove and treat the colonists.
Yep.
It would have helped, but I still there's so many stupid things in this episode. I just can't buy any of it.
Yep.
But I hear you.
Yep.
And see, all opinions are welcome here, except of course the chief engineer. He has to be like one of those people on the planet and believe what we tell him to believe, or he gets shin kicked.
He has to, yeah. Because remember Raquel's Kirk test, right? What would Kirk do? Kirk would have seen the children, and he would have taken the children by their arms, usually by their biceps, because that's how Captain Kirk grabs kids. And he would have said, "Get them out of here. We'll load them up first." And then she would have went to jail after. Well, he gave her a tongue lashing in front of everyone, telling her how morally bankrupt she was. But the kids would have been out of there first.
He would have given all those people an impassioned speech about what a bunch of dipshits they were being.
He would have, and he would have been like, "You've lost your way. How did you help her to convince herself that this type of torture, including of children and innocent people, was okay? Yeah, we're sending a team down here to help you. Whatever."
Right. So we're ready to move away from this stink bomb of an episode.
Yeah, just one more, and now we're ready.
Okay, we have our next episode, my first final episode of the evening, that is of Shadow Play. And while you're doing that, number one, I need to go take a piece of medicine.
Okay.
And I will be right back. You have the con.
Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. And I'll just ask the wrenches to please be extra vigilant while the boss is gone, because I can't look at the chat. So let's do Shadow Play, okay? Shadow Play is Season 2, Episode 16. And this is international, so we need to make sure that we say that the production code is 436. And we all watched this for the very first time on February 21st, 1994. Okay, I'm going to cold read from Deep Space Nine, The Companion, and I'm going to start on page 121. Let's go. Commander Cisco sends Dax and Odo on an assignment to the Gamma Quadrant to investigate an unusual particle field detected by the station's sensors. They track the field to a small unexplored planet, and when they beam down to pinpoint the source, they find a antimatter reactor standing in the middle of the valley. But even as Dax begins to study it, a small group of the world's inhabitants encircle them. They are taken into custody by a humanoid named Kolyas, who serves as the Yadiran colony's protector. Seriously, you guys, these made up names are something else. Although he finds Dax and Odo have committed no crime, he has a mystery on his hands. Since the previous fall, some 22 members of the village have disappeared. The most recent one just 6 hours earlier. After Dax is able to convince Kolyas that she and Odo are not connected to the disappearances, they offer to help the protector in solving the mystery. Kolyas introduces them to Rurigan, an elderly man whose daughter is the most recent victim. When Odo hears that Rurigan's daughter, Taya, was the last person to see her mother, he asks to speak with her. Taya is initially frightened by Odo's unusual appearance, but her curiosity soon does away with her shyness, and she begins to question Odo about his background. The spontaneous conversation, which touches upon the fact that Odo has been looking for his parents for a long time, creates a rapport between the two of them. As they discuss her mother's habits, Taya reveals that, like the rest of the Yadirans, her mother has never left the valley, a piece of information that intrigues Odo. Moved by Taya's sadness, the shapeshifter promises to do everything he can to find her mother. Back on the station, Cisco gets his young son a job with O'Brien in the hopes that it will help prepare him for Starfleet Academy, which Jake later tells Cisco he doesn't want to attend. At the same time, Kira pays a visit to Quark to warn him that she'll be keeping an eye on him while Odo is gone, so he may as well forget any schemes he has in mind. Not long after, Kira receives a surprise visitor from Bajor, Vedic Bareil, who's been invited to speak at the station's shrine by Prylar Hrit. But it soon becomes apparent that Bareil is interested in more than a discussion of dogma. On the other side of the wormhole, Odo continues his investigation, focusing on Rurigan, who helped to found the colony. The old man reveals that he is dying, but isn't particularly helpful in providing clues. And like everyone else in the village, he has no, next page, interest in the area outside the valley and is convinced that none of the missing persons did either. Nevertheless, Dax and Odo decide to explore the edge of the valley with Taya tagging along. As they pass some bushes, Yadiran sensing device disappears from Dax's hand. I have to plug in my laptop. Sorry, folks. Disappears from Dax's hand, and when Taya reaches out toward them, her arm disappears up to the elbow, only to rematerialize when she moves the arm back toward her face. Returning to the Yadiran settlement, Dax investigates the reactor they first discovered and draws some swift conclusions. The device is actually a holographic projector that creates an Omicron particle field from which all of the objects in the village and all of the people are formed. One of the machine's components is breaking down, which is why people have been disappearing. Although the villagers are shocked at the idea they're all holograms, Kolyas convinces them that the only hope for their survival is to allow Dax to shut down the reactor system and repair it. There is a chance she might not be able to start it up again, but Dax points out that if she doesn't fix it, it will fail completely within the next few months. Dax proceeds and the village vanishes, leaving only Dax, Odo, and Rurigan. On DS9, Kira discovers that Prylar Hrit's invitation to Bareil was extended at Quark's suggestion, in the hope that her budding romance with the Vedic would take her mind off Ferengi affairs. The plan almost worked, but she takes particular delight in telling Quark that she put an end to one of his illicit endeavors and enjoyed the time spent with Bareil. The only real occupant of his village, Rurigan, explains that the Dominion took over his homeworld, Yadira Prime. They destroyed his whole way of life. So he left Yadira and came to this world using a generator to create everything he'd lost. In the 30 years he's been there, he's seen people marry, have children, grow old like him. The townspeople have taken on a life of their own. Although he feels that a small bit of happiness is behind him, Dax and Odo convince him otherwise, and Rurigan and Dax repair the system. When they reactivate it, the entire population of the village reappears, including Tea's mother and the other missing inhabitants. Dax and Odo take their leave, knowing that Rurigan will live out his remaining years in the presence of his loved ones. And wow, not written well, but we got through it. And wow, those names. Bossman, are you back?
Oh, yeah, I am.
Tell me what you thought about Shadow Play.
I really liked this episode, and it was kind of cool seeing the classic science fiction, well-known science fiction actor, Kenneth Tobey, who was in a lot of science fiction films in the 60s and 70s, playing the old man. Obviously, my favorite part is all these Deep Space Nine people, like other Trek people, really watched a lot of Red Dwarf. There's all no question about it. But I love the idea of course the holograms people. I really thought Odo's relationship with the little girl was really cute. Really liked that a lot. Thought it was an interesting premise. The B and C stories, the stuff with Cisco and Jake, I thought was pretty good. And the Bareil and what's her name, Kira stuff's fine. It's just that really didn't do a whole lot for me. But the A and B stories, well, especially, it could have just all been, I guess it couldn't have filled it up that much if they had been all just on the planet. But I found this to be a very entertaining, very interesting story. I like the idea. Yes, I know the hologram thing's been done. But I like the idea of this old man creating this society and, the kind of the twist at the end when we find out he's the only one. I found it to be very entertaining. And again, I liked some of the stuff with Odo and the little girl. So I think, it's always good to see an Odo episode. I'm a sucker for an Odo episode, I guess. So I thought it was pretty entertaining.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
We got some notes.
I think this is a great episode, but it does have some flaws.
Yep.
This is a very TOS episode I wrote in my notes. This is a nice science fiction idea, but TOSers know fix the machine is who we are. So this is a nice homage. Kira dates a priest, ho-hum, and now they're necking with closed mouths, and we can tell, oh my God, help me, the cringe.
Yeah, that I can take or leave, but
they do it extended, both of their mouths closed, but necking. It's don't get me wrong, I'm glad I'm not seeing tongue here, but watching Kira make out with a priest with both of their mouths closed for an extended period of time is not what I want to see.
Oh boy.
Odo is a kind man. I know he's a changeling, but I'm going to call him a man here. Odo is a kind man. His speech about the holograms reminds me of storybook characters. So when he's talking about these relationships that you would have with advanced holograms, he's really talking about the relationship readers and viewers have with a storybook or pretend characters, fictional characters. So I love the way that he says that they come alive inside of our minds, and the fact that they exist there in the mind's eye. Of course, he doesn't say this; these are my words, but he's basically alluding to this idea that once somebody is written inside of your mind, and therein written on your heart, they exist. And so this is a tribute in my mind to the storybook character, or to the well-wrought fictional character. Of course, I might be looking into it too much as an academic, but I would definitely look for an essay just on that topic alone there. We have some tough transhumanism questions here. So it doesn't go directly to transhumanism, but it does have some tough questions about transhumanism, about what happens when you're the last person left and how you would fashion these types of holograms or these types of images. Okay. I love that Jake is growing up. Cisco is a wonderful father. Once again, we don't have this idiot, I'm just a dude attitude. We have a father who loves his son, and he's great at parenting. So I love this show for that reason.
Yeah.
The Quark storyline enriches the story instead of detracting from it. So, we usually have these A, B, and C story threads, and they usually suck. They suck hardcore, and they drive Michael Beacom up the wall because they always suck. If we get rid of the Kira, fake making out with the priest, and we only focus on the Quark storyline, I really like it. I really like that Kira takes the place of Odo and even says, "I'm watching you." It's great. But yeah, I could do without the necking with the priest thing. Some tough themes about aging and death. This is a beautiful theme in this episode. I just absolutely love this. The impact of aging and death and outliving people who you love and who you care about. It's a tough thing to do.
Right. Absolutely.
It's a little sloppy that the old man couldn't fix his own technology. I would have liked to have seen some explanation here, like that he left, but he didn't really know how to use the technology. He just basically, walked through programming the characters. But I need to know more about that. And I also thought that it was weird that that Dax wouldn't have made some type of request to see how they harnessed the Omicron particles. So if Omicron particles can cascade, they could be forced to cascade to sustain holograms beyond the lights and mirrors. We need to take that tech with us. Actually, if we got rid of the little sloppy thing where we didn't explain why the man couldn't fix his own tech, and if we dealt with the Omicron particle technical advance that's not taken by Starfleet or explored or even a one-sentence discussion, I hit this episode pretty hard without that. So this episode would have actually been an A for me because it is the Fix the Machine TOS, because it's clever, because it's compassionate, because it's beautiful. But I have to hit it hard on these last 2 points. They are big detractors that leave the science fiction fans screaming, why? Why?
I hear you. But I think my favorite part is definitely the Kira and Odo. The Odo and Dax bits, and especially Odo, just seeing Odo and seeing Kenneth Tobey there is a treat for anyone who likes old science fiction films. He's really great. And the stuff with Jake, stuff with Jake, I think is also really good. So overall, pretty much a solid episode. Again, the Bareil and Kira stuff, it doesn't necessarily kill the episode for me. I'm just gonna, because I love Kira.
You even put it on the poster.
Right, I did. See, I love Kira. You don't like Kira? I love Kira.
No, it's not that. It's the dry mouth kissing a priest.
I put that there for you. I knew you would hate that.
Gross. Kiss the priest.
Oh. By the way, Katie, I got your review there. I saved them because I knew you probably had to run. Thank you so much. She says, my review is listed above. Unfortunately, it's time for me to leave. I've been up since 6 a.m. and blah, blah, blah. We talk it out. Love you all. Love you, Katie.
We love you
Thank
too.
you so much for being here tonight, my dear. And
do your homework. Shine. Don't forget to study. Do all of your readings before class. We love you, honey.
And I will read your review, I promise. I saved it, even though we haven't. She has special dispensation votes because she has to run. So
she does. She's a university student and needs to go.
Yes. So, where are we at? All right. So but again, aside from that, I really like the episode a lot. What is your rating?
This should
Shadow
be
Play.
This should actually be an A+ episode, but it's not for me because it doesn't tie up the science fiction questions I have at the end. So unfortunately, I have to give it a B+. I feel that's very low for this episode because of the compassion of Odo, the way that it's written. I think it's beautiful. I love Kira stepping into Odo's shoes and even using his own line to bust Quark, and I think it's great. And finally, we have a B thread that doesn't detract from the story, but the dry mouth kissing with the priest is yucky, and the old man not being able to fix his own technology is dodgy, and the fact that we don't take the Omicron particle theory with us as we go, also dodgy. So B+, but it should be an A+, but it's a B+.
I also have it at a B+, and now I'm going to tell everyone, please start throwing in your review or your ratings and reviews. And number one, we'll jump over there and start storing them while I get us our final piece of Max Redstone entertainment for the evening. Are we ready?
We are, boss.
Okie dokie. Take the con there, number one. All right. Shadow play by Max Redstone. Jadzia and Odo go on an Omicron scan. They're found by an armed guy in a caftan. Jake puts on the work glove. Quark tries to fool Kira with love. And Dax fixes Hologramistan. Hologramistan. Wow.
What?
Hologramistan. I'm going to do that one again just because it was so incredible.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. Do it one more time, Max. Jadzia and Odo go on an Omicron scan. They're found by an armed guy in a caftan. Jake puts on the work glove. Quark tries to fool Kira with love. And Dax fixes Hologramistan. Max, nice one. Well done, buddy. Oh, my goodness. All righty. So let us begin. Our wonderful friend Katie Carr says, cute episode for a change. Nice use of Dax and Odo. I thought this episode did a lot for Odo's humanity, given he is still learning to live alongside humans, alien species. To me, the story of the man who lost his friends was moving, and he created them all as holograms. It makes you think of what it could be like when we lose loved ones, but keep them alive in our hearts. Yes, absolutely. I love it. I'm right there with you, Katie. Kira Bareil was all right. I'm an Odo Kira shipper myself, but I admired Bareil's faith and love for his people. Fair enough. It's because at the time we didn't have a Kira Odo type thingy, so I understand that. Overall, I give this episode a B+. Same as me. There we go. Good writing, and as always, I love me some Jadzia. I love Jadzia, so I'm with you. Zathra says, A, enough said. Yep, but is it as good as B5 is what I want to know.
Don't ask him that. You're going to force his hand.
Hungry Boy says, A-. Sweet-natured sci-fi, emotional but not Oprah.
Yeah.
A tasty mystery and satisfying conclusion.
Yes.
So nice to see fab moments of true pathos with talented kid actors keeping up with a genius like Renee. That's a good point there, buddy.
I love that all of your suffixes in Greek are correct, and normally they're not. Normally English speakers don't know that it's is, as, os for masculine, and all of yours, Clubby, you always say them right. Thank you.
Who? What'd I do?
Nothing. I just love you.
I don't even know what I said. No, maybe if I knew what it was, I could keep it up. It was an accident. I'm sorry. I love you. The observations, questions of what constitutes sentient life a la new personalities born of programming. Programming? Yes. One more. Each setup had a payoff. How rare. Odo doing his magic trick at the end for Taya made my eyes wet. That was a wonderful scene. I loved it. I'm right there.
She's the cute little girl from TNG.
What was she on TNG?
She was on that one with the best friend. The mystery friend, the imaginary friend.
That's right. That is okay. Yeah. All right.
She's a beautiful little girl. Beautiful long red hair, green eyes. Okay. It's a gorgeous little, and she's got to be Irish. She's just the cutest little girl ever.
Oh, yeah. Now I remember. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Pleasant Valley Pickle says, A nice Odo episode. He and Dax's investigation of a planet with an unusual particle field is interesting. Rurogen is a good character. Indeed, sir. Let me find your next one.
Oh, Zathras, are you leaving, sweetheart?
Oh,
Oh, honey,
Zathras. Take it
the
easy,
boss
buddy.
is still going to show your comment though, and also I put up your comment, your reply, because
Does he have one?
Zathras, I always got your back, honey, and I love you very much. Crap, crap, crap.
Babylon 5 is better than DS9. Heard it here first from Zathras, as always.
Night, sweetheart.
Okay, where were I? I was on Pleasant Valley Picker, right?
I think so.
Number 2 of Pleasant Valley Picker. The story of the villagers disappearing due to the hologram generator failing is almost too obvious. Still, fooled me the first time I saw it, I think, but it still unfolds in an entertaining way. What saves it for me is that the last act. Hang on. Rurogen's despair, explaining that when the Dominion arrived on his home planet, he fled and recreated the world he had lost. But now he admits to himself that none of it was real, is heartbreaking. None of it, yeah, that was really well done, well acted by Kenneth Tobey.
He's sensational.
Here. Yes, he really is. Odo arguing that Taya and the others are real and deserve a chance to live is touching. Nice Dax and Rurogen repair. Nice Dax and Rurogen repair the reactor, restoring the village. Odo morphing into a toy for Taya is sweet. It was. I'm with you. I shed tears at the end. This was a very heartfelt episode. Did Rurogen live a lot of his life as a lie? Yes, I'm a sentimental softy. Damn, being an emotional empath is a curse. That I can definitely concur with. Empathy is pain. The Kira kissing and Quark stuff is B plot to me. So I don't really care. As an aging guy, this hits home. I know firsthand being a survivor. Friends, family gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, pleasant. I'm right there with you. I understand. Thank you so much for that. Michael Beacom says, C. Another ep where they have to give a BS excuse why tech typically effective in other eps fails. 2 minutes with a tricorder should have blown the whole deal, but conveniently doesn't. Wow.
Michael.
Indeed. I like that they established Trek holograms have projected matter component. You have Kenneth Mars and Kenneth Tobey in the same ep. And dress them in shopping bags. Criminal waste. Kenneth Mars is good too, by the way. Yeah. Shopping bag. The self-aware hologram thing again. Side. Still, look how good the game simulations are getting. So maybe not so far-fetched. Science fiction happened here. Good bit with Jake and every parent's fear.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
He handles it so wonderfully. He said, as long as you, well, he doesn't use these words, these are mine, but he basically says to his son, as long as you edify yourself and you find something beautiful that you care about, it's okay with me. And that's what every single parent's answer should be. It really should be.
Indeedishness.
Make your children, I think you should make your children complete the things that they start. But I think you need to be open-hearted to make sure that they start things that they care about, not living your life vicariously through them. So I like that Cisco sends that message.
C+ for J.T. Kirk. Shadowplay was named after Vedic Baril's deviant shadow kinks. Fact check true. Everything on the planet with the holograms to me is just dull, especially on a rewatch. Wow.
I love you. I love you so much. Oh, that was such a good review. I love you.
Oh, Shooter says A-. This is a good, charming episode. The village mystery is well done, and Odo's frosty exterior is thawed when he bonds with a young girl.
Mm-hmm. And that little girl pulls on my heartstrings. I just think she's just the cutest little cutie patootie ever.
Yeah, she was really.
Yeah, really adorable little girl.
I'm trying to find Shooter's second one.
Oh, it should be there, boss. You want me to go have a look around?
Said he had a second one. Maybe I missed it. Hang
I
on.
think he does.
Uh,
Let me go find it.
no, I don't have a second one. I'm sorry, Shooter, but we'll try to find that second one. Maybe
I'll go
I don't
find you,
know.
honey. Don't
Okay.
worry.
While we're waiting on that one, we'll continue though. Chris Persia says, B plus. The procedural element was interesting. A space mystery searching for missing people. The B plot of further enhancing the father-son dynamic was good. There are still good dads. Yes, that's one of the wouldn't fly today now. What a show with a good dad, unheard of.
So you had Shooters 2 of 2, but not 1 of 2.
I had one.
You have
I had
one?
number one. I had number
but you
one.
don't have 2.
Yeah, couldn't find 2.
I've got 2. It's on your
Okay.
desk.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Sorry about that, Shooter. Sorry about that, boss.
I'll get back to yours in a second. Chris, I was finished up with Shooter right there. Jake's B story is also good. Cisco has to accept his son isn't going to follow in his footsteps. The C story is okay. Quark cunningly distracts Kira using her love interest of Bareil. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Shooter.
Yes.
And continue with Chris Persia. Dax's argument that the people are all sentient was a fallacy.
Mm-hmm.
They did not prove they were sentient because children were later added. That was a pre-existing condition of the original program.
What,
Okay.
did we miss Chris Persia's first one?
No, I did that one. But then we ended up doing Shooter's second one. Yeah,
okay.
So, yeah. No, we're good. By our own logic, all of the characters of Quark's holosuites are also sentient and should be immediately set free with a portable emitter. No argument for me. I hear you.
Good question.
They used to do that stuff on Voyager, like that whole dumb village, they acted like they were real people. Never mind. We'll get there. Odo and Dax allowing Arurigan to live out his remaining days in peace as one of the program's AI was a nice touch. Overall, an interesting episode. Thank you for the great Chris Persia.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got one more.
He does.
5 of 4. Okay. Cisco understanding Jake and wanting him to simply be the best version of himself was a nice touch, proving good dads still exist in the future.
I love you, Chris.
No way. Oh, and it's got another one.
Yeah, he does. He has 6, doesn't he?
Oh, no, it's the same one that I just... Weird. I don't know.
Yeah, it's doing some weird stuff.
Oh, oops.
Earlier on, when I was storing things, it was putting them on the marquee.
I think you put it in there again and fixed something, but I already read it, so... B. Naranax Amanda Bear says, B, this was an odd episode, but still something to think about. Thank you so much, Narat. JT Kirk says, if a woman says she loves you, friend, family, or otherwise, don't question her. Just proclaim. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do it.
That's the first time you've ever lied to me, you dirty, rotten scoundrel.
I didn't lie to you. I lied to them. I lied to myself. I had my fingers crossed. No, I didn't. I just did it. I don't know. I didn't say what I was not going to do. I just said I'm not going to do it. It could have been anything. Like I'm not going to. This Tootsie Roll Pop I got, for example. I could have meant I was not going to take a part of that. Fan of the Outsider says B. Nice ending. Reminded me of the Twilight Zone episode, A World of His Own. Oh, yeah. But using tech holograms rather than T-Zone magic. In the T-Zone episode, Rod Sterling, I think he means Sterling, falls victim to his own creation. Rod Sterling or Rod Steiger? Rod Sterling created the Twilight Zone, and was Rod Steiger in that episode? I can't remember now. Anyway.
Let me check.
That's okay. I know it wasn't Rod. Was there a Rod Sterling in that one? I'm just busting his chops. Max Redstone says, B plus. I did really enjoy the Odo's development. As a person and seeing Jake take the first step away from Dad's expectations towards his own path. Lakira Bareil Quark C story is not horrific, but does feel wedged into the story. In The TNG, they would have sent a probe to research Omicron particles. The A and B stories are solid, especially with Kenneth Tobey as Rurigan. We are given a teaser of the Dominion. It's understandable to use hollow technology to recreate the things one has lost. Absolutely. This would have been the perfect opportunity for a Reg Barkley to pay. Yeah, for Reg Barkley, yeah, to pay a Reg Barkley says pay a visit. Pay a visit. He might have been able to have some eloquent discourse on potential hollow addiction. Yeah, he would have. So I don't see an ED. Do we have an ED? Let's fade my side and put something else. Chris Parsons, you can't do that with Quark Hollow Switch. You can imagine the harassment lawsuits law. That was not a review.
Well, no, but I wanted to bring it up that's exactly what Chris was getting at. Right?
So we've got
Jill. Is that idea that if you start doing that, when does something become, when does something get human rights? And so that was Chris Persia's point.
I understand. I don't see an ED, but we do have some Jill if you want to go from Jill's.
Okay.
Is ED still with us or did he have to run?
No, I'm sure he's here. He might be doing his reviews right
I'll
now.
watch for it. You go ahead and if you want to do.
Okay, let's do Antiderivative Jill. She got a 3-parter here. She's given this an A-. She says, a Dominion threat sends an old man into hiding among a holographic family. There are hints of Measure of a Man served and integrated with the compassionate character development from Odo. Odo's temperament with the little girl he meets doesn't change when he learns she is only beams of light and Omicron particles. And that sums up how I feel about all the episodes tonight. What a sweet person. Despite any lesser scores tonight, all the main cast character development deserves an A+ from Sisko, Jake, and Odo in this episode, and O'Brien and Bashir in others and more. What a beautiful thing to say. What a beautiful and lovely and kind thing to say, you sweetheart. And that's it.
Okay, let's see.
And Edie's here, yeah. He's just he's in a deep discussion with Chris about father-son relationship.
Oh, he hasn't watched that one. I got you. Well, we didn't spoil her too bad for you.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. No big deal. No big deal there, ED. You don't have to say no big deal. I didn't know if you were.
Let us know. Let us know next week, please.
Yeah.
Enigmatic Drop Bear.
Yeah, next week. Let us know what you think of this one next week.
Yeah, I want to know next week Enigmatic Drop Bear. And we'll talk about it on the show. Yes,
sir. So Phantom Outsider, Rod Sterling at the end is called out by the Rod Sterling. At the end, a character who takes an envelope and says Rod Sterling. Oh, and throws it into the fire of Rod. I remember that. Wasn't that was that the episode with Keenan Wynn? Yeah, that's right. But did it say Sterling on there? I can't remember. I remember it was Keenan Wynn, the guy with the tape recorder. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one. But I remember he made Rod Sterling disappear into the fire. He takes the envelope and he throws it into the fire. That's right. It had that little piece of tape. And he makes it, but I didn't know he called him Sterling. I remember he thought he called him Rod. It said, the envelope said Sterling on there, huh? And I remember Sterling goes, well, that's the way it goes. And then he disappears. I love the episode, by the way. All right. So I guess we got our final review of the evening, folks.
We're done.
By Mark Day, what I'll say, says A-. Lots of tough emotions to deal with in this episode: death, mortality, and the cruelty of war. The writers also keep throwing up warning flags about the Dominion in a subtle way. I think that Rurigan didn't create the tech, but just bought it. But his big mistake was running Windows Millennium. Another good tale of what constitutes life, as Odo beautifully explains. Technically, I suppose you're right. Maybe by our definition, Taya's not real. Her memories are stored in a computer, her body made up of Omicron particles. But who's to say that our definition of life is the only valid one? I'm sure if you asked her, she'd say she was real. She thinks she feels. Yeah, a good point, buddy. And a lovely point, and something that's very Star
It's an
Trek.
interesting thing that we are going to face in the future. And Chris was talking about it tonight. Mark was talking about it tonight. I was talking about it tonight. You guys, we're gonna, and gals, you're gonna face this. This is coming, and it may be in our lifetime where we're going to have to really take a hard look at our compassion, take a hard look at our morals and our ethics and what we believe, and we're going to have to decide how we're going to move forward. Because, like Phantom responded to Chris, could you imagine what would happen in the Hollows with the Hollow Suite program? So, but I mean, that's nearly upon us. So interesting.
Yeah, indeed it is. Well, that about wraps it up for the episodes. Mark D, you have a link if you are so inclined.
Mark D with a C.
C of the D. There might be. Yeah. So
Mark says, when we have holograms, we're never going to leave our parents' basements.
That's about it. That's the way it is. Yeah. So
Mark's here. I'm going to add him, or are you?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Hey, dude.
Good evening. Good evening. Not too many shin kicks tonight.
Not too many, only a few.
That was fun. Yeah, I just got to explain who this Miles guy is. That one keeps saying this. Oh, Miles.
I don't know who that is. Well, let's see, everybody. Just to show you all before we do all of our goodbyes and all of our show notes and stuff. Next week we have here are episodes. A question for everyone. I hope these are the right ones. Jill, you can tell me if I got them wrong. Ed says, I'll watch Rap review for Shadow Play next week. Show. I have the advantage of taking on board everyone else's reviews, so no excuses for writing a stinker.
We love you. We love you. You always create good conversation. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for that. And sorry for the mix-up with me working and then me not having to work, and I really appreciate it. I'm sorry about that, Edie.
There you go. Episodes are correct now. I would just thank you so much, Jill. When we get to the last one on that list, Maquis Part 1, you want to just let it be a cliffhanger for the next week and do Part 2 and just make it still 4, or do you want to pile on and do both of those episodes?
Well, the thing is that I think sometimes it confuses folks. Like, I know there are about 3 or 4 members here who like to do those together. So if you all would like me to do 5 episodes and review 5 episodes, because it's really me who is messing this all up for the captain, because I have to watch the episodes in order right before we do the show, and that means, and so he thought, 4 is good, so we could keep going with the show, but 4 isn't too much for me to review. I just want to let you know now, Captain, that I don't mind pushing it to 5 if you don't.
I also don't mind doing the. Let's see here.
The next week you might want to do 5 too, or
1, 2, 3, 4.
We have a breakup to plan, don't we?
Well, what we could do is this: 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2. Why don't we just keep it this way? We'll do a cliffhanger, and then that way the following week we'll have 4 again, and then the final week of the season there'll be 2. That'll give us time to wrap up those last 2.
Okay.
And then we will have we'll rate the season and all that stuff. It'll give us more time with that last episode of the season.
Okay. So I'm going to say, so this is your XO speaking. The captain has given us his plan. And so now this is your XO speaking. Please make sure that you stop watching after Maquis Part 1. Please make sure you stop watching, because you don't want to get on here and confuse them and say, oh, but then this happens, but we don't know if it happens yet. So make sure, please, crew persons, please pay attention to your XO. Hit stop after the
Maquis Part 2 in your review.
or at least, or if you do, just don't put any of Part 2 in your review.
That's right.
You watch whatever you want, I guess, but I mean, Yeah, just make sure you review part 1 next week. Then we'll tell them that one. Yeah.
Michael Beacom says, I gotta call it a night. My day starts at 5:30. I will avoid Monkey Part 2. Michael Beacom, we love you. You are just such a great part of this crew, of this ship. We just love you so much. Please tell Cassandra that we said hello and have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for your great conversation tonight.
Yes, indeed. And hello to Cassandra.
Yay!
To the wonderful Cassandra Beacom there. So these are the episodes for next week. So you'll know. There we go. Well, you want to did you want to show those pictures again one last time for everybody, or do you want to just start moving out here?
I can if you guys want. I just have to upload it again. Hold on.
Oh, you don't. If it's
no Tom Cruise on this episode. Come on.
Yeah, and the thing is I hate Tom Cruise, but the thing is, I wanted to take my husband's advice because I thought what he said was pretty clever. He was like, you always do this really super obscure stuff that people don't understand. Try doing something that would be super popular that people would understand, because he always does Tintin. And his Tintin, like people, like he walks in the con. Tintin. When my husband walks in the con, every single person in the con high fives him. They're like, "Yeah, Tintin, nailed it!" And people are like, "What are you?"
That's not
the French comics. The French. Yeah.
I know who Tintin is, but that's pretty obscure, wouldn't you think?
Not with cool people.
But people high five him, and they're like, "So what are you?"
Well, we had the movie though, so
Alaric
that was old now, though. Yeah.
Hey, Alaric.
He's not a household name like Tom Cruise is, though.
No, well, no. But you're missing my point here. So, like, when I normally cosplay, people are like, "So what are you?" Especially the younger people. Like at the con this year, there was no Star Trek. You know that, right?
There's no Star Trek at all?
Yeah, all these people who are like filth lovers.
There was no Spock,
and they're like,
"Oh,
the filth. We're the greatest. We're gonna overtake the 735ers. We're super fans." There were none of them there. None while I was there. None.
I hear you, Alaric. Oh, I've seen that episode as well. It would be sort of a fake cliffhanger in a sense, though. I got you. Thank you, though.
So anyways, my husband's plan was, why don't you do something popular and fun, something that people will like you to do? And I was like, okay. So that's why I decided to do the Top Gun. But I have not seen the new movie. I've not. Okay, so here it is.
It's great.
Me Maverick. And me acting as obnoxious like Tom Cruise as I possibly can here. Trying to do like the in character, trying to act all snarky. Trying to act like, "Oh yeah, I'm cool."
Well, Tom Cruise didn't look this good. Sorry.
I love you, thank you. And so my husband was like, "Power pose, like you're gonna get into a jet fighter, be like super arrogant." So I was pulling my best arrogant moves, and then of course this is when we finally arrived to the con, and I'm like, "Magic activation time!"
Max Redstone, that's a serious question. Tintin is he's a French comic book character, isn't he, originally?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
French, and then of course, yes, he's had a movie and everything. I don't know if you were asking facetiously or not, but it's been around a long time. He's very famous. I'm just saying, over here in the States, not really anyone knows of him unless they saw
huge in Canada,
right? Huge in Canada.
French people's, it's a big thing. I was given a lot of books in the original French.
I used to sell them all the time, though, when I was even the old albums. But
it was kind of like
Asterix and the Gaul.
Yeah, my dad grew up with him, obviously, and he was kind of like their Raiders of the Lost Ark type superhero back then. Jules Verne, science fiction, all rolled into one character.
Belgian. Okay, there you go.
Yep,
definitely Belgian. Belgian, as Indiana Jones served in the Belgian army.
Well,
so go ahead. This is
very,
great.
very, very, very popular here.
R2D4.
So I wanted to have 1 year where people were high-fiving me. So I went in and I did the Maverick, and he was right. People were like, "Maverick!"
Yeah, and Maverick destroyed the Death Star in the latest movie too, right?
This R2 unit has a bad motivator. Look,
right?
Because it's red.
No,
that's the line from the movie.
It's a line from the movie, the R2D4. But I mean R2D4. I mean R4.
When the Jawas are selling the droids to Owen,
although it's a little bit too much red.
and
This man
he's
was
hobbling
so
away.
kind
He
to me
breaks.
and was such a sweet person. He
R-
was just lovely.
R4D4, right? Isn't R4D4?
I think you're right. Yep.
Yeah. But this man's really cool, and I love his droid.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart. And yeah, I just can't say enough of what a doll he was. He was very gentlemanly, very kind, and just all the kids, like all the kids. And he took his time with all the kids, including the ones who were terrified of him. And he acted so gentle and so kind and didn't push. He was fabulous. And he was greeting everyone as they came into the con, and he was just exceptional. So shout out to him. What a doll. And then this very sweet young man who definitely has Tom Cruise's personality walked over to me and he's like, "I'm going to get a picture with you." So I was like, okay. And so we did this picture, and yeah. So
Cool.
the Tom Cruise. And then
Comics.
I got new comics.
Nice.
But nerd comics. But nerd comics.
No, they're geek comics. Comics are for geeks. Nerds, we let the nerds. We let the nerds kind of, read
This is true. You are preaching right now. This is true.
Plenty of nerds love comics too.
I know. And so here I got some new badges for my pool case. As you guys know, I play billiards. I play pool. So I needed some for my new case. I got a new Predator case.
Nice.
It's a butterfly case, and it didn't have Star Trek on it, and it requires some Star Trek. So these are licensed, and that's why I buy them at the con and I pay so much money for them. These are not really something I would order online, because either it's not licensed or it gets there and it's like, it doesn't look anything like what it's supposed to look like. So I don't buy these online. I only buy them at the con. Nice. And then, yeah, like I said earlier, if you are watching this on a rewatch, or if you're out there in the crowd and you're looking to support some indie people, people from our community, our geek and nerd communities, makers, wonderfully gifted people, please reach out to Andrew Howell, buy his books. Very gifted person, incredibly kind. Please reach out to Teresa. She makes incredible, beautiful wrapped scarves that are like right out of a sci-fi a show. They're great for Christmas gifts. I want to give a shout out to Anthill Books in Langley, British Columbia. Nels, you were so charming and so sweet. Bless you and thank you so much. And I think it's so cool that you know Mike Alonso, or you know of him. And yes. I think you're a cool cat.
No big deal knowing that jerk.
I want to give a shout out to the wonderful guy. I'm sorry I forget your name right now. I really apologize. You were very kind to me. And I think it's so cool that you are bringing back the art and craft of handmade paper toys. And I am going to call you to get you to do that commission for me. And I think it's going to be Blake 7, maybe Aurak. I'm not sure, but wow. I love you so much for just saying to me, "Oh yeah, I'll do a custom thing for you." So I'm definitely getting a hold of you. So shout out to Dracula Friday. If I'm ready tomorrow, I have a couple of things that I'm waiting for coming in the mail. I will be doing Julie Newmar Batman tomorrow.
Oh,
and so
nice.
Just a shout out to everyone who organized the con, to all of the makers, to all of the cosplayers, to all of the people who help make our conventions what they are. And I would also like to shout out Bill Shatner. Bill, I love you. Thank you for always coming here, for always being the star of our show. I love you. And you already know that because I told you that in real life, but I love you. And that's it.
Fantastic. Love it. Love it.
Did you get to see Bill this time around, or?
Oh, no, I didn't. I didn't get to see Bill this time around. It's really expensive to see Bill.
Okay, no, but he didn't do like a question Q&A in a hall or something. It was all just private, meet and greets. Nothing.
Yeah,
public.
yeah. Well, he's aged, so I don't know.
Yeah. But
I did hear I did hear a microphone address on Friday before I got there. Like it was just wrapping up as I got there on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's only 4 hours on the Friday.
Oh, okay.
So they had a little thing before I got there, but yeah, I love them, but it's really expensive to go up there,
Right.
and
Oh yeah, I
unless it's
can
an
imagine. Yeah.
actual VIP meet and greet, I don't really enjoy those. Like when my husband and my daughter paid for me to meet Leonard Nimoy, it was in a private room, and we actually got to meet with him. Like I had a full conversation with him. I spoke with him, and I talked to him about his work and how much I love him, and just like we had an actual conversation. I don't like
Did you let
those
him
hit
leave
and
the
run
room?
film or photograph things. I think that's dumb.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, you let him leave the room, right? Just kidding.
Well,
He's a
that's
sweetheart.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
no,
is
no,
this.
yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
that's amazing. Yeah.
well, anything else you have to say? Number one for some show notes, or I'll do some show notes, and we'll start saying our goodbyes.
Just still working on the book. I'm just waiting for Hungry Boy to get me a high resolution photo for the book. I'm waiting to hear back from my editor, and when those physical copies are ready, I want to thank you so much for supporting my work. You have no idea how much I love each and every single one of you for just being there to support my work, and I'm so happy that you enjoy it, that you're having a great time with it, because I'm writing it for you. I'm writing it for true science fiction fans, and there are so few people out there left who actually read science fiction and episodic science fiction. One book expert, I was reading one of his articles a couple of weeks ago, and he said there are only 80,000 people left who actually read science fiction. And so
That's
for
sad.
you guys to buy my short stories to the tune of nearly 250, and of course, I'm only making about 25 cents off of each one, so it's only $50. But that I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing it for the science fiction episodic storytelling. And your support of me has been incredible. And I love each and every one of you for help making this dream possible for me. So thank you. And that hard copy is coming soon, I promise. Thank you for your patience.
Good night, Chris Persia. By the way, and I think he's running.
Good night,
So,
Chris.
Take care, Chris.
Well, Marco.
Well, we got the Sunday Night Geekery coming up, and tomorrow I'm actually going to be at a clam bake. So I guess I won't be reporting from there and sending any pictures from a clam bake. I don't think you want to see that. I didn't invite you to that one. Miguel.
Sea tongues.
Sea tongues, yeah.
Right.
Well, it's basically just lobster, so no sea tongues, just lobster. But yeah, but looking forward to Sunday Night Geekery, and it was a great time hanging out with everyone tonight. A lot of fun. The chat was hysterical. I kind of losing my voice from laughing too much, I think. Even though it was off air. But
there
were some good zingers tonight. So
really, I'm glad you had fun.
Good.
Always have fun. Yep.
When you say that means the world to Clobby and I. That's so great. I'm so glad you had a good time. We love you. That's terrific.
There's some sea tongues from Max.
Yeah, now you're gonna get a tongue lashing in the chat.
So you're saying I should have ordered the steak?
Look at what Max put in the chat.
Yeah, that's hysterical.
Oh my goodness. Well, tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central, our good buddy Nick Weiser is doing a birthday stream. So our very great friend, 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser. So I'll probably stop over there and hang with him a little bit tomorrow. Wish him happy birthday. He's a good friend of ours.
A little bit for that too, hopefully.
Hopefully I will be if I'll be able to do that. I don't know unless I get called to duty. Over at Doomcox, but if I don't, then I'll be there. And if I do, I'm going to try to get there just to say it. But so hopefully I will be be with you at the Geekery, and then Monday night, the return of Retro Blasting. CLOBBERIN Times Retro Blasting team up. My fantastic, wonderful Retro Blasting friends will be joining me on Monday night Mark C Comics Talk. Nice. The great Michael French and I will be talking about 60th anniversary of the great web slinger, the Amazing Spider-Man, and we'll probably talk about some other retro blasting things as well. But we're going to talk about his history as a Spider-Man fan as well, and his cartoons and many other things from Spidey, all things Spidey, and who knows what else. The great retro blasting, and sometimes this week I will schedule a member stream, folks, where we can all hang out.
Awesome.
We can Yes, indeed. Well, you could come on and hang out and talk to me. I hope you will anyway. So, Raquel, have you ever read any Larry Niven? Nah.
No.
I've actually met Larry Niven once. He came to a con down in Baton Rouge. Anyway,
No, but I can't say no. Like I've read so much in my life.
You
I
watched
don't
one,
You
even
must
know.
have.
Like
You watched
sometimes I
one?
don't even know
Ringworld?
until like I'm in the third paragraph, and then I'm like, oh, I read this before.
Didn't Niven write an animated Trek animated episode?
Yeah, didn't he? I think
I think
he
he did
did.
one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you all for being here with us tonight. Of course, Mark D with a C and Antiderivative Jill, members of the crew. Lord Thoth and Lady Thoth, he couldn't make it tonight because he thinks that we're thinking of him and we're sitting out. We're thanking him, and of course, the greatest first officer in the fleet. Thank you so much for being here with us, for doing this show with me and making it so fantastic. Laura Kell, you're the best, and I love you.
Oh, I don't deserve that praise,
You
but
do indeed.
it is
Yeah,
an
you
honor
do.
and a
You've been hanging
pleasure.
around with me too long. I'm having a bad influence on you. I'm the one I hate me, but you're supposed to love you.
No.
Let's see. J-Man was here, the great J-Man, buddy. Our buddy Steve Mitchin popped in to say hello early. And whether you're still here or not, you get the shout out, like we always do. Michael Beacom and the wonderful Cassandra Beacom. Thank you so much, Michael. Max Redstone.
Maximum
Redstone. Thank you for all the great limericks and everything, buddy. Just fantastic work as always, brother. Shooter 8323.
Pew 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 pew.
Let's see what. Oh, it seems, Raquel, that
What?
Max Redsong has a question for you. He said, he wants.
Your agonizer, please.
What did I do? You can have my agonizer
I'm not
if
even
you
sure.
want.
I'm not sure. I just saw him, Chris
Here it
Persia
is.
had to run.
Go ahead, take it.
The great Chris Persia had to run, but good to see you there. But thank you so much.
Good night,
Brian
Chris. I love you, honey. Mwah.
Brian Hepburn.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
Brian.
Classic Comics. Thank you for being here tonight.
Good night.
The great Phantom Outsider was here.
Bye.
Pleasant Valley Picker. Thank you.
BC.
Zathras. Thanks.
Crap.
Zathras. Matt G was here. Hello, Matt G. Thank you, Matt G. Amanda Bear, my friend. Thank you for being here with us tonight.
Not.
The great JT Kirk was here.
JT Kirk.
Yes. And the great enigmatic Drop Bear. Always great to have you here, my friend. Thank you
There
so
you died
much.
there. Love you. Thank you for the conversation tonight. You were sensational as usual.
Sorry for the mix up there. Thank you, though. Gonna call him Scuba Pete. All right, and
Scuba
Leslie.
Pete. And
Thank
Leslie.
you so much. Terrell 72, my friend.
He
Have a
sent
good
us
one.
a heart and a good night.
He did.
Tyrell, we love you, honey. Hope you had
Yes,
fun
indeed.
tonight. Don't work too
Absolutely.
hard. Get some sleep.
Indeed. It's good. And thank you so much. And Apollome's Minion, I hope you're doing well, my dear. You and the pupper.
pepperoni, the pepperoni.
Not a good drummer tonight. Zach, you Hulk Lillian, thank you. Hungry for a Clubby Clubhouse sandwich on Rye, aka the great Hungry Boy Buddy.
The official
Always.
artist of CLOBBERIN Times.
Indeed, the official
And my
artist.
book.
And that too, yes. The great one himself. Thank you so much, Hungry Boy, for being there, brother.
You're the best, baby.
Linrod was here. Thank you.
Rod, the hot rod.
Dave Travels Through Time popped in. Thank you. And then there was
Dave.
another Dave G
Dave.
Sound. Thank you, Dave G Sound.
These are the Daves I know. These are the Daves I know.
Indeed. The lovely, wonderful Katie Carr was here. So great to have you here, Katie. Cloud, he spells it differently, but Claude Salling, thank you so much for being here. Rough Girl popped in. Rough Girl.
She did.
Yeah, always lovely to see you. And Keely Chow, roll tide.
And Scotty and the whole crew, they did a sporking raid. Scotty,
Thank
shout
you.
out to Scotty, honey.
It was one-man raid, but it was great to see him here. Wolfie. Thanks. Good to see you, bro. Indeed. Midnight's Oblivion, thank you for being here with us.
Good night.
Wendy Webb, Thank you so much. Trauma Warrior, Wendy and Jimmy, thank you so much.
No, that's Wendy Webb is different than Wendy and Jimmy.
Oh, they are.
Wendy
okay.
Webb is Darren
That's
Prowse's wife.
I meant Wendy and Jimmy. I always get them mixed up.
I know, it's okay. Don't worry. It's all the
But I wrote
handles.
down Wendy and Jimmy. It's the handles.
Yeah, it's the handles, right?
Well,
Because we know them one way on Facebook, then we know
I
them
got a
another way
handle
on
on the
Twitter.
handles.
Sorry.
Yeah, and then,
Sorry,
and then
Wendy.
we know them another way here.
Sorry, Wendy and Jimmy. I got that mixed up. But shout out to you. Thank you so much, Wendy and Jimmy, Trauma Warriors. And shout out to the lovely Wendy Webb anyway, because she's wonderful.
Yeah, because we love Wendy's. All the Wendy's.
Wendy's. Everyone knows it's Wendy. I bet she hates that song. Gary Carpenter, thank you. Captain James T. Skywalker, thank you. Captain Cockney Spock Finity, buddy.
He reported for duty and he wasn't even supposed to work. That was terrific.
Well done of him, yeah.
Oh, and he accepted the mission as well.
Good, good. Just another red shirt. Always an honor to have you pop in. Monkey G Buzz here.
Monkey G Buzz.
Alara Kadosin, thank you for being here. And that does it for the night. And I want to thank you all again for being here. I really appreciate you. You've all been fantastic. And just hey, man, what can I say? Just please have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And I'll play. We will have our credits after these important messages. So everyone, again, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.
It's clobbering time. I just love clobbering time.
Alamarine, if you receive Alamarine, you'll come free.
It's clobbering time.
No.
No nightmares.